Good afternoon, all you gorgeous ghouls, goblins, and gremlins. Welcome to day 2 of the Trackmania World Tour EU Regional. My name, according to Nightbot, is Edamame TV. Alongside me is that gorgeous Latvian man, SRK, and we're here to bring you day 2. I'm sure Nightbot will figure it out eventually. He's got the spirit of the thing. He's just a little bit confused at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm okay with cosplaying as a Latvian. Sure. That works for me. I feel like is that cultural appropriation? I don't know. We'll figure it as we go along. But we are here today for the second day of the EU regionals, and that is for all the beans, everything now, because we're getting into the point where players are going to start getting tons of World Tour points. And what are World Tour points? I hear you ask from the other side of the room. I don't know why you're in my room. Get out of my house, please. I locked my door for a reason. But World Tour points are able to qualify you for tournaments down the line, like the All-Stars Championship. Whoever takes the lion's share of the points here in the EU region does get qualification to the All-Star Championship, and the top 8 teams as well get qualification to the Promotion and Relegation Tournament, where they can try and steal the spot from one of the Challengers League players.
Yeah, and of course, day 1, we whittled down our teams in Europe from over 120 all the way down to 8 teams remaining. And do you know what we have today? We have bracket graphics, Twiggy. We can show people who these 8 teams are, and we are going to be kicking things off today with this match between Serotonin Events and Glorious. The other 3 matches in this bracket will be going on at the same time because there's only so many hours in a day, and we got to get through this bracket. But it will be a best of 7 today. Matches will be taking that little bit longer, and it means as well, Twiggy, less bans for each of these teams. They're going to be forced onto some of the maps that they're maybe less comfortable on as well.
Yeah, and honestly, we didn't see enough gyroscope yesterday, so I'm looking forward to a lot more gyroscope. Obviously, there are some maps we didn't see any of whatsoever. I think Agility Dash and Slippy Slides we did not see whatsoever yesterday, so hopefully we get to see a little bit of those as well, because I think they were kind of insta-bans for a lot of teams.
Yeah, of course. And looking down the list here, there's plenty of the teams that we did manage to see on broadcast yesterday. You know, some of the teams that we expected to go far that we kind of got eyes on yesterday as well. Arctic Raptors, Ascent, Mint, Evo Pink. We've seen all these teams. Caparol and Projet Blue Lock, that second match down, we haven't really seen just yet. But at least one of them is going to be in the semi-final. So at some point, we're going to get there.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously we have so many. We have so long with each of these teams, so we're not going to be saying goodbye to any of them too soon. We've got a best of 7 to go through with all of them, which is just perfect. Not only do you get to see look. At the worst, you have 4 maps with all of your favorite players. So we're going to be here for a little while, and we're going to be guiding you through it, and it's going to be beautiful and lovely and awesome. So there's that.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We do have a little bit of a time here before we do get into our first match, but I'm looking forward to it. Serotonin Serotonin Events, versus Glorious Esport. And there's some players that should be recognizable to some members of the community here. Over on Serotonin, we do have Matus and Meliu, a player who's been around for a little while now. And over on the other side, Glorious, we have Heave and Pustapako, a name that definitely we're going to get in trouble for mispronouncing.
Yeah, okay, so I remember when I started playing Trackmania for the first time, and I'm just gonna call him Paco. Look, my British uncultured tongue does not understand the amount of consonants in that name, so I'm just gonna call him Paco for now. And I remember seeing him at the top of the leaderboard for every single campaign track, so that's a scary name for me. So there's that. That brings back memories of me being absolutely dreadful at the game. So hey, memories. I'm still dreadful at the game, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, look, I think it's easy to compare yourself to some of the players left in this EU regional and be like, yeah, I'm terrible at the game compared to them, but so is most of the rest of the world. This is a very, very stacked regional. I think, we were looking at our top 32 yesterday and saying, this is already starting to look like some of the finals from other regionals. And I'm not just saying that because, I'm casting the EU one and I have a little bit of bias. Genuinely, the level of competition in Europe is, as is to be expected, incredibly high. And I think we're going to see more of that on display today. We're going to be tracking some of the times that are put up in rounds as well, comparing them to what online records are, because I think we're starting to expect to see players pushing those online records in today's matches.
Yeah, I think, it was one of the round of 32 games. I can't remember exactly what 2 teams it were. Was Marius on one of them? I think Marius was on one of them, and it was Aero Pipes and yes, on the Ancient Germans, and we saw a quad overtime. So hopefully we get to see a little more. Actually, wait, no. If we get any overtimes on this in a best of 7, we're going to be here all night. I'm not. Look, everybody wants to watch the Grand League later. Let's kind of make way for that one, guys. If you're down a map, just throw the rest of them so that we can have so that we can get this over and done with quickly, and then we can move on to the Grand League. Don't take up don't be selfish.
So if you're on the red team and blue team get their first pick and win their first pick, just throw the rest of the maps.
That's how it works. It's gentleman's rule, Yeah.
I'm not convinced by your logic here, Twiggy. I don't know if this makes a huge amount of sense, but hey, that's a great time to talk again a little bit more in depth about the pick ban system as well. Yesterday, everything was best of 5, which meant that teams got to ban one map each. Then the blue team would start with their first pick. Red team got a pick, blue team got a pick, red team got a pick, and then we had 2 more bans and a random map pick finally. Because we only have a pool of 10 maps and we need 7 of them, we obviously can't have 4 bans across the 2 teams, so it'll be 1 ban each, and then the same. Blue team picks a map, red team picks a map, and so on down the line until we have 6 maps picked, and then no more bans, just a single selection after that, which will be randomly made.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of difference, honestly, when it comes to... Because we saw a lot of teams that really knew the maps that they selected, and as soon as you went over, even just onto the, other kind of... the other team's picks, suddenly really had quite a tough time keeping up with them. It's going to be even more of that as we see, hopefully not with the top 8 teams. Hopefully maybe they all know all of the tracks. But in case it's similar to yesterday, it's going to really push your knowledge of each map. You need to know every map really well because you're only going to get 1 ban.
Yeah, and we are expecting to see players, they have to select another map as well. So we're going to start to see as well what these players do gravitate towards, seeing where exactly they do want to save. Yesterday, we were saying in the earlier rounds, best of 5, maybe some players were still hiding some of their best picks. Maybe people weren't necessarily going straight for the maps that they felt strongest on. I think today, it's going to have to be the maps that you feel comfortable on. That's what you're going to have to go for. And bans ultimately are going to have to be very targeted at something that you are very afraid of your opponents on.
Yeah, because it's all going to come down to consistency in the end. If you make one single mistake at this point in any of your runs, you're probably not going to take that run away. Obviously, getting first place means that you're not going to be losing points to the other team, and avoiding last place also means that you're not going to be losing points to the other team. So as long as you don't make any mistakes, just don't crash. There you go. There's my tip for the day. But genuinely, it is going to come down to just one mistake every round is probably going to make all of the difference.
That's, the advice that we started yesterday off with, and for the most part, our players didn't really follow it. Yeah.
No, they didn't follow it whatsoever, and
if they just hadn't crashed,
that's their own fault.
They'd be here in the top 8. Some of them, they crashed less, and they are here in the top 8 right now. And we're only a couple of minutes away from starting this first match. I can see players starting to join into a lobby here in the background. But we're not going to show it just yet. Keep the suspense building for another couple of minutes, and just make people look at us for a little bit longer, Twiggy.
Yes, hopefully we get Gamba set up soon so that everybody can have some, some stimulation just to carry on. Because it's been our faces for quite long, and it starts to get boring after a while. We're part of the kind of Gen Z generation where we have to keep doing things all the time. So Gamba, please, would be great.
I've got my fidget toys lined up on the table beside me. I'm ready to go, all right? Any of these rounds get a little bit boring, I'm going to be spinning away. It's going to be a great time the entire way through.
I don't think any of the rounds are going to be boring whatsoever. I think we've reached the point now where there's going to be no stomps. Actually, to be fair, we only really saw one stomp yesterday. That was in the round of 64, and it was budget versus project, wasn't it?
This is true. Yeah. We did see a couple of 3-0s, but for the most part, I think you're right. They weren't really very one-sided 3-0s. It was more one team, the blue team, tended to get out to a lead on their first map. They close fought second map on the red team's map, and then third map would kind of swing back the other way as well. And I think in general, the blue team, and as far as I know, the blue team is the higher seed. So maybe no surprise that blue teams were winning a lot of those matches, because you also get a 3-0 just with the way the format goes. Blue team, higher seed, they get to play their map first. If they can then win on their opponent's map, they're back on a comfort pick again, and that works out nicely for the blue team. But I can guarantee you one thing, Twiggy, we're not going to see any 3-0s today.
Oh, wow. You know what? Well,
we might see some 4-0s.
Yeah, you can't get. Yeah, actually, no. I fell right into that trap. You knew I was gonna say something about that. I hate you. That was terrible of you. Yeah, I can't believe I've already made a fool of myself today.
It didn't take long. It was far too easy to bait you into that one, Twiggy, as well. I believe picks and bans will be starting here in the next 30 seconds or so. Looking at these teams, we haven't seen either of them on stream just yet, and so I'll be honest, I don't know what they're going to lean for. Again, we're in theory going to see a lot of the maps from this one, and I'm going to transition us into game here as we are in our pick and ban. So, Team Red, first ban, what do they want to take off the board?
Hopefully not gyroscope. It's reps. Yep. Okay. All right. We saw a lot of reps yesterday, so I'm surprised we got that as an insta ban.
Yeah, and Flip of Faith taken off the table as well. We saw a bit of Flip of Faith, but I think generally we were seeing it as a Flip of Faith, as generally teams were finding it as the random map. It wasn't necessarily being picked by many teams. Slowdown and gyroscope already locked, so guaranteed we will see gyroscope at the start of stream today. Very exciting time all around.
Yeah, Agility Dash is actually, we didn't see that yesterday, so it is the third map. It means we are going to definitely see it. That's massive. We love to see that. Back and forth, the Wicked map is also going to be coming up as well.
Yeah, back and forth. And I mean, look, we're going to get most of the maps. So, really, I think the key question as well is what are the later maps? Because once we get past round 4, there's a chance we don't see them at all. If it is a one-sided match, if one team can just get out to the lead and hold on to it, then at this point, this is the maps that maybe teams are less comfortable on. It will be Slippy Slides. So decent chance, I think, that we do see Slippy Slides as well. The random map is going to be the last one. Comes down to a selection between two. Will end up being Aero Pipes Freestyle, the only map not involved in this pick and ban, left out in the cold. But it does mean we're going to be kicking things off on Slowdown. A map that we saw a lot of, a map that our players should be, I think, getting pretty used to at this point, given how often it seems to be showing up.
Yeah, but we saw, I don't think we really ever saw like a clean round fully for both teams in any of the slowdown rounds. I think that ending when you're pushed to try and make up time is suddenly incredibly difficult because you've got to get that angle right and you have to slow down, and it's really difficult to make yourself go slower when you know that you're half a second behind your opponent.
Yeah, and we saw even when kind of someone was being chased, if they were half a second ahead, but, they really needed a round win, still, people were pushing themselves a little bit hard, were kind of taking jumps off of those final hills. And that's not what you want. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the identity, is to not jump off of those hills. And doing it in those rounds, doing it in clutch moments is all too easy, all too possible. It could happen to these teams. We will load into our first map here. Day 2 of the Trackmania World Tour EU Regional. We have Serotonin Events playing up against Glorious Esport in what should be, hopefully, fingers crossed, an absolute banger.
I am sure it will be an absolute banger. This should be absolutely brilliant. There we go, our two teams. Lovely. I love that graphic. It's amazing.
It's great. Yeah, I love that it's baked in server side and I don't have to do anything with it as well. That's probably my favorite part about it. Looking at Slowdown as well, we have our 10-second warm-up, making sure all players are connected. Current online world record is held. Would you like to know who it's held by?
Go for it. Is it Paco?
No, it's Matuz.
No. Oh, okay,
in
well.
second place, Meliu. In third place,
oh my god,
Paco.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, look, we do understand that some of the times here are not necessarily, fully indicative of what these players can do. They've been practicing offline or whatever. But online world records are definitely in favor of the team that selected this map so far. Serotonin, we expect them to do very, very well here indeed. That world record is a 56.4. Keep an eye on those times. Let's see how close these players get in round 1.
Well, to start things off, it seems like everybody is keeping up with each other just about. Paco a little bit further behind, 1.5 seconds, but we know how quickly that can be made up towards the end of the map. But Melio and Matt both out in front to start things off. Eve only 1/10 behind, but it's all going to come down to this last identity in the end.
Will come down to the identities it so often does. Heave is trailing a little bit here as Matuz and Melio are a little bit in front. Into the identity we go, neck and neck, holding hands in front are those blue cards of Serotonin Events. They are clean through it so far, very clean indeed, and the mistake is made by Heave as Melio and Matuz will cross the line. Strong times, incredibly strong times, and consistent across the two of them. 57 seconds, a second and a half behind are the red team.
Yeah, both of them on the leaderboards currently do have a 56.4, so only dropping back 6/10 from their records. It's nothing to scoff at whatsoever as a consistent run.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem was, it looked consistent as well. They were, keeping pace with each other. They have the lines down. They're looking practiced. And that's maybe worrying signs. I mean, not that worrying, right? Glorious, this isn't their map pick. You're maybe not too worried. Paco will touch a ring checkpoint. And yeah, I mean, hey, it's warm-up time. If you're Glorious, just you treat this, get the hands flowing, get the blood flowing. Map 2 is, I think, definitely where this match starts to pick up. If you do drop the first map to the blue team, if they are kind of getting out to a lead on that, you need to counter on your own map pick. And Glorious, I think, not too early to start saying, yeah, that's where the eyes have to start being.
Well, as we head into the identity, Heave up to a good start, and Matt goes flying as they move round to the final few corners. He may just take away this one, and now that Matt has made a mistake, Paco could come back in and give them a round win. They do indeed take the 1-3 for a victory in the round and close that gap to 2 points.
That's on me. I lied to every... look, Glorious, maybe they can still win this one. I mean, Serotonin looked very clean through the first one, but there was a big mistake in the last round there for Serotonin. And they do give the round win. And I say a big mistake. Heave drove a 57 as well. That was a very, very fast time that he got through on that round. And he's looking good on this one as well. The only player who we weren't looking at, who isn't in the top 3 on those current online records for the track, is now going to be dropping a little bit further down the leaderboard as well, as he does make a touch on the wall. But not a big touch, will be keeping pace with the rest of the pack anyway.
Yeah, everybody's staying within 5/10 of each other, so no problems whatsoever. And this is what we expect to see coming into the top 8. No players are really going to be making massive mistakes at the starts of rounds. It's really going to come down to the difficult parts at the end of the round, where everybody's pushed to make all of the time in the world up as we move once again to the identity. Everybody's staying right next to each other this time. It is neck and neck moving forward. 4/10 between each of these players. It is going to come down to the wire. It is Paco to cross the line first with a 57-0. And again, Glorious take that round win with a 1-3.
All right, here we go. Glorious will win 2 rounds on the bounce, but they got aced in the first round, so they still trail by a point. Serotonin are holding on to their lead, but it is white-knuckled at the moment. They are not far away from dropping behind Glorious on their own map pick here on map 1 of our first quarterfinal.
Yeah, it is. I think we're going to be seeing this. This is going to be a trend that continues. I think there is absolutely nothing to separate these players whatsoever anymore. I think we've had 3 different players getting first place now, and it's just going to be this over and over again. I feel like, as Serotonin events looking for another quick lead have pulled 2/10 ahead of their competitors.
That's a touch by Matus, and he'll drop down, and we could now be looking at our first draw of the map as well. Heave and Paco are chasing down Melio, who's a little ways in front. Comes down to the identity one more time. Can Melio stay on track, stay clean in front? Clean through the first hill. Paco gaining a little bit, though. And up in front, Paco is still gaining on Melio as we head towards the finish line. He has speed. Does he make it? Not quite. The line doesn't get him there, but it will be a draw as Heave crushes in 3rd place.
Yeah, as long as now Serotonin get a player in first place, which just by a hair's breadth they do there, they have nothing to worry about. Glorious cannot catch up with them as long as they keep getting first places, but that is easier said than done against players of this caliber.
Simply get first places. It can't be that hard, can it?
Just to win.
Just win, Forehead. He's doing that right now. Is winning on this round. Paco has dropped a little bit away from the rest of the pack. A touch on a wall somewhere along the way through there. And Heave is holding on for dear life, but is holding on nonetheless as they enter the bobsleigh.
Yeah, you can tell how much each of these players is having to be pushed now, because we saw there Paco going so far outside. Oh my god, a head-on collision. Drops Heave all the way back, and that is a lot of time lost. Several seconds at this point. It is looking like, at the best case scenario, Glorious is going to be taking 1 point away from this round. Oh, but a little bit of a jump from Matt. I don't think he really had any time loss from the fragile, maybe. Oh, a second touch is going to drop him further back. Paco takes that second place, and yeah, they do get 1 point from the round, but still, Heave so far back that there was never going to be anything more than that out of this.
I mean, that's a big swing, though. That's a 2-point swing, in a sense, because that was the difference between Serotonin being on 9 points and Glorious remaining on 5. Instead, the scoreline sits at 8-6, and Glorious not out of this one yet, but they cannot afford to lose another round. They can barely afford to draw another round at this point as well. They need to start looking for an ace, and that is going to be incredibly difficult here on this first pick.
Everyone is so far outside on that first dirt turn. It is insane how close to the barrier they are all getting. Just trying to gain thousandths of a second by staying on the edge as long as they possibly can. Paco takes a very far outside route. Will have more speed coming into the bobsleigh and may just overtake Melio here coming forward. But Heave staying close as well. It is once again an incredibly tight packing as we move towards the second half of the map.
Yeah, and Paco is holding on in second place at the moment and may look to overtake Melio in the final identity, but it does come down to this identity. And again, Glorious can't afford to lose here. Right now, Paco is trying to chase down Melio, and Heave with a crash. That might be all she wrote. Paco needs to get the overtake, needs to get first place to try and force the draw. Will not be able to. It was close. A time of 56.8 for Melio is incredibly fast. Paco pushed it all the way as well. But it's a track win for Serotonin.
You don't get much closer than that. Serotonin kept and held the lead from the start there with that first ace, so that's pretty much all it took. The rest of it, I mean, once you get that first lead of 3 points, it is so difficult to catch back up when all of these players are now so consistent. Really, we only saw a couple of crashes there. Other than that, maybe just some scrapes on walls. We really didn't see much going wrong at the end of the map. So, yeah, I mean, if you make one mistake, that is you pretty much out for the round.
Will be you pretty much out for the round, and I hope everyone enjoyed our close-up look of the Hungarian helmet there on Paco's car. Looking good, you know, lovely colour, green, white and red. It's just a good time. We are on to Gyroscope. We love to see it. Always a good time, and we will finish out our warm-up. We will get these players into rounds. We're Glorious chasing the match, but with their map pick to do it on. This first round might set the tone for how the rest of this goes.
Yeah, we might just have to see if they can pull ahead, but again, it's really going to be the finest of margins. We saw that Glorious was not far behind in terms of proficiency on that first map, so I doubt Serotonin events are going to be too far behind on proficiency on this map.
Heave is trailing a little bit at the moment. That's not a big deal. We'll catch an awful lot of that engine off block, but is deep inside that corner, and that brings him right back into contention, if a little bit slower than the other cars on track. And he's risking then through that chicane. Will catch back up into the ice turn. Is still sitting in fourth place, but has done a great job of risking to get himself back in contention.
Once again, everybody right next to each other, but it is Melio out in front. Melio currently sitting at 8th on the leaderboards. Can he keep up with his best time? That is such a low line there, and stays out ahead with more speed. But it's all going to come down now to the identity once again. Paco is right behind, but he slams into the wall. It's going to be a first ace for Serotonin events once again, and a 55.5 is brilliant. That is, I mean, that would currently put you at probably about 15th on the leaderboard.
Yeah, that is a fast time right now, but I think disappointing for Glorious. Heave with some touches earlier in the map, and Paco sliding out on the identity. It shouldn't have been an ace. Paco should have been able to keep up there, and Glorious, they're now sitting 3 points down in a map that they really do have to win if they want this match to feel within reach.
Yeah. Well, we saw how tight it was all going to be there, and it does look like no matter what, Serotonin events are planning on keeping up and taking that lead and maintaining it this whole way through. Once again, starting with an ace is going to put Glorious at a massive disadvantage. Melio almost crashes into a wall there, but stays well out ahead. Even Paco bringing up the rear at this point. Oh my, that was so close to a slide out. They're still keeping grip though.
I'm not entirely sure how Melio didn't lose his wheels off the inside of that turn. It looked like they'd clipped the edge. They didn't. He keeps speed. He has drop behind Paco. He's come roaring through the field in the back half of this map, and onto the identity we go. Paco leads from Matt and Melio as well. Melio is at risk, and it's a perfect turn. And he will snipe out both members of Serotonin in the space of a mere meters.
Another 55.5 there coming out from Paco, who currently has 6th on the leaderboard. Has a 54.9, so, you know, we could see better times coming out here, but it is insane how close to their records they are staying on the grand stage, you know, with no real warm-up on this map either.
Yeah, managing to keep it fast and manage to keep consistent. Those are two different things. Getting them both at the same time, what's necessary right now, and easier said than done. Matt is contesting this first place again, but we saw the identity work. Heave, that corner didn't work. Matt will get a touch as well, and Paco, the beneficiary of all of those touches, will make it out in front, but Matt roaring back inside. I don't know. Hey, that touch on the checkpoint, it's worked out for him, as Paco is now dropping back behind. Melio and Matt will move into first and second place. This time around, Heave is a little bit too far away to make the snipe happen, barring someone sliding out fully on this turn. And Matt and Melio, they take it safe. They make it look clean. They will find a second ace, and every round of our first 3 ends in an ace.
Yeah, and there it is. He just loses. Well, I mean, having a crash right before the ice means you lose that 4th gear, and it just makes it so much more difficult to gain any speed and keep your slide going all the way throughout. So there was no way he was catching back up to the rest of the pack. Paco would have had to have one of the best turns I've ever seen at the end there to catch up to the other two. So It's just keeping it consistent for Serotonin events, and this map might be over quicker than we think. Even if we have aces all the way throughout, it's going to take less time than it did the last map.
It could be, yet, I mean, this round now feels important. If Serotonin could whip out another ace here, they move to 9 points versus the 3 the Glorious are sitting on. If that happens, they just need a single draw. They need to get a second and a fourth. I mean, that's far too close to a match win for Serotonin than Glorious would like. And Glorious, they are chasing right now, but Paco has made a mistake. He is 3 seconds adrift off the front of the field right now. Heave really needs to get a win right here, and that means a clean identity. Heave enters the identity. It looks good. It doesn't look like he's going to slide out. Melio slides out. Heave crashes, and right now Matt will take a win, but where is everyone else? There's Paco crashing out off to the side as well. Heave has found a finish, and Melio will take 3rd place. Paco coming home in 4th. There was a chance there for a 2nd and 3rd. Honestly, Glorious could have tied that round, and it may come back to bite them. The Paco crashed out.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can see now everybody just going for it with all confidence at the end, and that's the best way to do it, I feel like. If you're giving up places by playing it safe at the end of the map on the identity, then you've already lost, I feel like. So everybody giving it their all and crashing out is, in a way, a lovely sight to see. He bonks a checkpoint. He's going to be pretty much right at the bottom of this round, and Paco slides out a little bit on that bobsleigh looping now, so it means that Glorious, all the way down in 3rd and 4th by quite a long way, a matter of seconds, is going to give Serotonin events a massive lead here, and all they need is 2 points. All they need is a 1st and 3rd, but a 1st and 2nd would definitely take them over that line.
Melio slid out though, so Paco is there. 1st and 3rd would still take them across the line, but at the back of the field, Melio is a long way behind Heave. Back up at the front of the field will go as Paco is trying to chase down Matt. Matt just looking to secure this 1st place. Doesn't want to slide out on this identity again. Looks good. He might clip on the inside. Will not. Paco and Melio, Paco and Matt both around the corner. Heave will come home in 3rd place. Melio, that slide out on the ice spiral, costing him an awful lot of time. Nearly the full 7 seconds there. It's a draw. Glorious move 1 point closer to that 10-point mark, but Serotonin are sitting on 9.
Yeah, it's going to go down straight to the wire now. Glorious have to win every round at an ace to keep them away from this map win, taking away their own map pick here, which is absolutely not something you want to happen at the start of a series. But once again, Heave bonks right at the start, moves all the way back to the back of the pack, which is... I mean, that's not a good sign. Really not ideal now. The pressure is very much on.
Not great when you need to ace your opponents to have someone who is now sitting over 2 seconds behind them as well. Paco is keeping pace with the 2 players from Serotonin. Melio, I believe, has fallen off the inside. No, he's just got a very, very deep line. I think Paco is the fastest player to come out of that ice spiral. Matt has just about managed to stay in front, but Paco's made an awful lot of time up. A draw is not good enough for Glorious right now. A win is not good enough. They need an ace, and Heave, I think, is just a little bit too far behind. Paco has put in work to come away with a 1st place in this round, but Matt and Melio stay consistent. They'll take 2nd and 3rd. They'll take map 2.
Heave on his own map pick has made a lot of mistakes before even getting to the identity. It does give Serotonin events the map win there. I feel like it's just as soon as you make that first mistake, suddenly your teammate has an absolutely massive amount of work to do to keep you in that game, and well, Paco just couldn't keep up with that, I don't feel like, half the time.
Oh my god. It's Agility Dash for the first
God,
time on the EU regional stream.
I have never seen this map before.
What's going on? This is crazy. Well,
this is Discovery.
This is players probably not discovering it for the first time, but the broadcast is. Look, we do our research. We've played this before. I know what's going on here. We'll see if the players do, and we'll see who's out to the lead. Glorious, remember, this is not their pick. Serotonin selected this map, and Serotonin could currently put themselves on overall match point and 1 map away from moving on to a semi-final. They've got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, this map is... I feel like if you get this map down fully, if you get this consistent, then it is a massive boon, because I was just about to say it is so fast that a tiny little mistake is going to set you so far off course that you may just bonk, and Heave demonstrates that perfectly for us. But yeah, It's all going to come down to, once again... I mean, look, guess who has the world record on this map once as well?
Problem is, I don't have to guess. I also pulled it up. Why don't you let chat know as we head towards our identity?
Melio does currently have the world record on this map with a 121.9, the only player below a 122. And yeah, I mean, look, so far in third, but once again, it is all going to come down to that consistency. I feel like Serotonin Events, having picked this map, and we haven't seen it being picked before, definitely know what they're doing here.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing when they selected it, and here we go. Matt over the top, Paco chasing him down as well. As we round the last couple of corners on this one, Matt has managed to gain a pretty big advantage as he heads onto the plastic. Paco trying to chase him down. Matt clean so far. Paco holding on as well. Both players will survive. Melio will survive behind as well. Heave will make it to the line. A drift to the leaders, and it is a win for Serotonin.
That's an amazing time already to start things
Jesus
off. A
Christ.
122.1 is in the top 10 of all times worldwide right now. That's one way to start off a map.
All right, calm down. This is statements now from Serotonin.
We just got here.
We literally just got here, all right? You can chill a little bit. Heave was 4 seconds away from the pack on that one. That's a time I don't think I'd be able to set still, right? Like, these players are driving very, very fast, and remember that as you watch these rounds go through. Agility Dash, I think, as well. Definitely, I think, the longest by far of our easy versions of these maps. And can take its toll as well, right? You know, there's just that much longer you need to focus for before you actually get to your identity.
Yeah, and on a map like this, which is basically just speed tech on Adderall, is it's very difficult just to get to that identity without falling so far behind. Every one of these turns going this kind of speed is going to, if you don't get it perfectly right, set you back another 10th. And you can see right now, everybody is staying right next to each other, but every turn you can see those positions are changing.
Yeah, that is slow for Melio, though. A little bit slow out of that turn, and that means he's being caught up by Paco and Heave, both right on his rear spoiler. And Paco might have the speed to overtake. Heave has dropped a little bit away from the pack. The identity will hit. Paco moving up into second place. Melio behind. Heave with a little bit of a clip. Will still manage to turn in time to catch on to that finish line. And Matt and Melio, again, with a first and a third place, they'll move further away from Glorious.
Yeah, Serotonin Events really just are not taking any prisoners right now. They did it on Glorious's map pick. They're doing it on their map pick once again, and you can just see how good these guys are on this one. They are just so unbelievably consistent, getting top 10 times worldwide pretty much every time they go for it.
Yeah, honestly, like, there's only so many times you can point out how insanely quick these players are driving, but the problem is they just keep doing it round on round. It has been very good, especially from the side of Serotonin. Setting low 122s twice in a row as a team is absurd.
Yeah, and as we move forward once again, so far it doesn't look like, after Heave made that first mistake on the first run, nobody is really making any mistakes, so it really is just coming down to how well you get a speed slide in the middle of the map, how many times you can get a good turn in one of these drifts here. You can see everybody is, like, the positions aren't even changing anymore. Everyone has their line and they're sticking to it. Nobody is doing anything wrong. They
might change here, though. Matt with a great turn in the middle of the map. He came out with about the same speed as Paco, but a slightly tighter line. That gained him back about a 10th, and Heave with a little bit of airtime will now drop away as we head towards the identity. He's going to fall a little bit further away. Matt with an overtake on Paco on those road transitions is now leading into the identity as Paco will regain the lead right into the identity. It's going to be a race down to the finish line. Matt has it by 6/100ths of a second. Paco will drop behind, and it's another round win for Matt and Melio.
On that last identity there, on that plastic, any deviation in the angle you're coming at it from is going to set you back another couple hundredths, and we saw that exactly there. Paco had more speed at the end, but just went a little too far off to the left on that last jump and lost a bit of time turning back round to the right. And Matt just went straight forward, pretty much perfect line right at the end there, kept all the speed that he needed to overtake once again. And I mean, look, there is it comes down to such fine margins now that it's getting difficult to understand why each person is winning.
Yeah, just carrying that pace into the identity and then minimizing airtime as much as possible on those transitions. And then that's, you know, what you know you have to do, but actually pulling it off, actually managing to do it on that identity, obviously incredibly difficult. Matt is driving like a maniac right now, is managing to do that by the finest of margins, better than Paco did, and overtook about a 10th on that identity last time around. That was enough for a round win. And Heave will once again make a little bit of a clip, and Heave will start to drop behind. Paco's desperately fighting for this first place right now, but he is doing it against two blue cars, and Melio with an overtake as Paco gets a little bit of a clip as well. I believe Matt may have also found a little bit of a road border too, and so Paco's still sitting in second place, but it's a second place that he'll not be particularly happy with. He's seen it too often.
Melio almost slides out there at the end, but gets through unscathed. But it is just, I mean, this is, come on, guys.
All right,
come on. Let's stop being silly now. You've shown us what you can do. Let's play the game.
Yeah, we know you can do this identity. Heave may not have time to make it to the end here. It's going to be close. No, he won't. He won't. This time around, the identity proves difficult, but with Paco taking a second place with Melio in first, the point split remains the same as it has in our first 3 rounds. 2-1, 8-4 on the overall scoreboard right now. Serotonin looking to close it out on this round.
Man, I want to know what these guys have for breakfast. This is, I don't think we've seen a map this insane so far in terms of just everyone being on each other. Maybe, look, it is Serotonin events winning every round 1-3, but at the same time, it is like by such apart from that last round, just by such fine margins.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen a round end outside of 122 for the first place time. These players are driving fast, and they're doing it consistently as a group, if not always as individual players. As Matt definitely had a couple of moments on the identity last time around, and he's a little bit of a moment on that turn as well. Loses a lot of speed, doesn't have a great line, and will drop back to 4th place. He's not far away from the rest of the players, about 3/10 down from Heave in front of him, but is now dropping behind. This could be a first round win for Glorious here on Agility Dash.
Yeah, Paco stays out in front by just a couple hundredths here, and it's all going to come down to those couple hundredths as we get to the end of the map. Now, just to the last 20 seconds, these little jumps are going to make everything happen, but Melio is right on his tail, goes a little too early on that jump, loses a couple tenths to bonk in his wheel right at the end there. Paco is going to take a little victory lap, takes a lot of airtime on that first jump, but stays completely forward. Melio has so much more speed. Paco stays ahead, and Heave overtakes Matt right at the end there, and it is going to be a round victory for Glorious, but they still need to ace every round from here on out.
That should have been the ace, and Heave loses speed. Not much, not a big clip, but he does lose some speed right on the last jump of the identity to be overtaken at the finish line. That could have been the ace. That could have been so much closer for Glorious in this next round. They could have been on match point themselves. They won't be. And instead, Serotonin take an early lead. Paco drops all the way to the back. And it's on Heave right now to, I don't know, somehow mind control the opponents into crashing.
Heave has not had a crashless round, let's say, in this map so far. And of course it'll come down to trying to get an ace up against Serotonin events. And Heave is the one out in front after Paco makes a mistake right at the start to lose him 3 seconds to the rest of the pack. Heave now 3/10 behind Melio here, and it looks like it's an insurmountable event to try and get up to this one, taking the tightest inside line, but it's still just not gaining enough time. He's doing the best job I've seen of trying to keep up with these guys, but so far, it's going to be heartbreaking if this is his first crashless round, and still it's not enough.
Yeah, that's right, Heave. Crash now so that we all feel better about the fact that you were making it through. Instead, Matt with a little bit of a wobble, and Heave, he might just win this round, you know, and wouldn't that be a little bit heartbreaking as he is in the lead. He's cruising towards the finish line, and Heave will win a round just in time for Serotonin to win the map.
Oh, of course it had to come down to the draw being what Serotonin got the map off, and now they're 3-0 already. I mean, when you said there were not going to be any 3-0s today, I was like, well, and look, yes, there can't be any 3-0s because it's a best of 7, but we may actually see a 4-0 just to start things off. It is going to be Glorious's map pick once again for back and forth, though. It's
back and forth. Gonna be fun, and Glorious, look, they desperately need a win here, because, you know, they lose if they don't get it. They kind of desperately needed a win on the last map, or maybe even on their own pick in map 2. They haven't found it yet. They're going to need a good start here. I'm thinking an ace in one of the first 2 rounds, or things are starting to look dire.
Absolutely. Well, we're here on the Way Too Dank map. Wicked, whatever you want to call it. Let's see how these players... Oh my lord, okay, 2 immediate mistakes from Heave and Matt, just clipping wheels or taking a little too much airtime with the reactor there. Leaves them about a second behind. as we come through to the bug slides, just giving them slightly more time. But yeah, no, already Paco and Melio the ones battling it out for first place here.
Yeah, and they took very different lines through the plastic turn previously, and Paco coming out the victor with his line on a crash from Melio, clips a wall and is sent flying into a second one. I asked for an ace in the first 2 rounds. Right now we're on track for it, but he needs to stay clean through the identities. He's being contested by Matt right now.
Yeah, it is staying relatively close here, but Paco and Heave staying pretty nicely ahead. No mistakes apart from, I think Matt just lost a little bit of time there. No crash, but it is going to be Glorious taking an ace to start things off, which is exactly the momentum that they need on this one.
And you can see it, Matt and Heave entered the identity at near identical times, but Heave's entry just a little bit better. He got speed earlier on the identity. That's unfortunate. It's an ace anyway, but Matt lost nearly 3 seconds, or nearly 2 seconds, I should say, just off the identity, just off being slower and lacking speed entering it. So that's how bad it can go if you lose time going in.
Yeah, Melio, we won't talk about it. I can't even take a triangle forward, so, you know, I'm not going to blame you for not getting it backwards. All good. Didn't matter either way. That's all you need to tell yourself at this point. Melio in first place as we move forward into the plastic slides once again. Oh, but I think that's a little bonk from Paco there on the checkpoint. Luckily, it's such a slow speed part of the map that it doesn't really matter if you do bonk there. You're not going to lose a gear. But yeah, staying... Oh my god, look how close it is already. 1/10, not even separating everyone.
This is everyone entering everyone. It's again 1600ths is all that separates every car on track. And once again, it comes down to this entry. Heave with not the best entry into it. He will be a little bit slower than the other cars, I believe, going into this one. And he gets a clip as well. And now it comes down to Paco, but he is behind both the other cars and he will touch as well. And so Matt and Melio, they say, you can get an ace, we can do it right back. We'll be tied at 3 points apiece.
57.6, a brilliant time as well. So we're starting things off just as just as intensely as last few maps we've seen. Oh man, it's seriously just one little tiny bonk every round is what is sending people into the shadow realm behind the other players.
Yeah. And both times happening on the identity for Glorious there. They were maybe behind anyway. He was maybe a little bit slower than the others, but the mistake comes through anyway. And if you make a mistake, you remove the chance that your opponent will make one that gets you back into the race as well. That's vital on these identities. You want to make sure you're clean, so even if you're slower, you manage to make it all the way through. Clean rounds, the name of the game right now for Glorious, as Paco and Heave do move into the lead of this one. Matt chasing them as we enter.
And they were still only 2/10 behind. It is going to come down to the wire once again. Paco staying ahead. He does currently have the third best time on this map, and so far it has been clean. Matt falls behind just a little bit now, 2.5 seconds. That is not going to be great, but Melio snipes it right at the end. 56.9. That is top 3 time worldwide for Melio.
Insane.
Oh man, he hasn't set a time in the top 10 so far, so that is hey, you did it right here, right now on the stage where it mattered.
That was so quick from Melio as well. He just had the pace and just cruising past people on the identity, waving as he said goodbye to both Heave and Paco. That's feeling pretty good for him and does mean with a draw we remain tied up. 4-4 is the score right now. Paco and Heave, they're in first and third at the moment. Matt is contesting. Melio has lost a bit of touch with our leaders in this round.
Yeah, falling 1 second behind here. Pretty unfortunate, but you can make it up. This is one of those maps where sometimes just a tiny, like a little bit of a better line while you're going backwards is going to gain you so much time. Because it's so much easier to control the angle of your car when you are going forwards, obviously, and when you're doing this. Just
Matt
a tiny
has the speed, he has the inside, he's past Heave. I think we could be heading for another
Whoa!
draw. Heave will make the mistake, but
bonk.
Paco is straight past. Matt is trying to chase. Paco will still get to the line. Is Heave going to get there? He will in third place, and it ends up in a round win for Glorious when it looked like potentially Serotonin on for the draw.
Man, a double bonk there gives Paco just the simplest line to get through and get through with more speed. Matt makes a mistake right at the start of the map. That's going to send him immediately a second behind the rest of the pack.
All right, ace here for Glorious, and they move to 9 points. They move to a position that Serotonin have been in multiple maps in a row, where basically anything is good enough to win. That'd feel pretty good right now, but Paco with a mistake in the water will get a wall bounce, and he goes flying off screen in front of Melio's car there, shooting off track. And now Matt and Melio, they occupy second and third. Heave needs to hold on to first place.
Paco already completely out of this map, more than 10 seconds down at this point, and no way to make back up that time. Matt doesn't quite have enough speed to make the jump there, and that sends him right back as well. So it is a 1v1 now between Melio and Heave pretty much to win this map out, get the team some points at the very least, make sure that they're not going to be falling behind the other team now, right down to the last line here. Melio out ahead by just 4 tenths. If he takes a nice line here, it's easy for him, completely smooth with a 57-2, and Heave just cannot keep up with that speed. The rest of it comes down, and it is Serotonin Events that do take that round win.
And we'll tie back up at 7 points as well. Glorious finally managed to win a round there. Serotonin win one right back. And this has been our closest map yet. Very, very back and forth. These teams trading blows.
Yeah, it is just... I mean, that round, there was a lot of different mistakes that just made it so much more difficult for the top two to be able to try and get points for the team. But yeah, it is as soon as one player does something wrong, immediately you have to take that first place just to try and keep your team afloat, and it will come down to, I mean, if a team ace is here, yeah, it could all be down.
This could be it. This could be our final round. Of course, it could just be 2-1. One team on 9, one team on 8, and we could be heading for our first overtime. I'd love that. I'd love to see an overtime here in our first quarterfinal. But Glorious, it doesn't look like they'd be happy about that right now. They were occupying first and second, but Matt carries the speed through that jump and overtakes Heave, and Heave is slower than everyone else on track right now. Will drop to the back. He is now trying to chase them down, and it will come down to a drag race to the finish line through this identity, weaving right through the poles. One more right turn. Heave with a touch. Paco's been sniped. It's going to be an ace for Serotonin. It's Paco on the line, and Matt with a clip on the triangle will put his team on 9 points and will go for another round.
Oh my god. A couple of degrees to the right there, and that's an ace. And Serotonin close out the whole series, but Paco just whoosh, snipes through the rest of everyone else, but he's already made a mistake here on this one, and that could be the death toll for the team, unless... I mean, there's no way. You have to catch back up. You sometimes, I mean, both players from Serotonin are going to have to crash now.
Yeah, well, just one of them. If Heave can get first place, we could go to a 10-10 tie and go to an overtime. Yeah. It could happen, right, but you need a crash from Melio or Matt right now. Paco, I think just the... Look, the adrenaline, hands shaking after that snipe, not ready to go into another round. Heave is currently in first place. Melio or Matt, we need a mistake from one of them here. They need to not be clean if we want to go to an overtime. The problem is they're too clean. They're too fast. Matt will take first place. No mistakes on the finish line. Takes it safe, takes it handy. Will cross in first, Melio in third. And Serotonin close out the match 4-0.
Man, that score is not representative of how close each of those maps were. Glorious bringing Serotonin to a couple of points every single map there. It's absolutely heartbreaking that they do not get a single map in the series, but Serotonin, well played. Take a bow, because we saw almost some new world records set on these maps over the course of that series. And yeah, when you're driving that fast and that consistent, you definitely deserve the series win.
Yeah, and of course, you know the best thing about a 4-0, Twiggy?
What's that?
We get to go and find another match that is still ongoing, and we are going to jump straight over into Kappa Rule versus Projet Blue Lock, which is an anime reference I have been reliably informed about a football team. I'm not sure. Anyway, what is going on is Blue Lock won one of their opponent's maps in the first 3. We join on map 4, Projet Blue Lock's second pick, where they are currently losing. Caparul looking to close this one out. A draw would do it for them right now, as Darkwix is in 4th place and will head in just in time for the identity. Thomas Jean is in 1st place, is looking to get across the line, and the first place here for Thomas Jean will close it out for Caparul, who will win this map, will win parkour, and will go into map 5 in this match with the teams tied up at 2 apiece.
I mean, the tension moving from last map, where each map came down to the wire, into a series now that is 2-2. Hey, look, I don't know. This free Trackmania content for you guys, this is unreal.
we're spoiling chat, I think.
Yeah,
is really
honestly,
what's going
they don't
on
deserve this. Of course they deserve this, I'm joking.
Yeah, okay, and let's look at the two teams that we have here as well and not talk about what chat does or doesn't deserve, because I don't think that leads to any nice places. We do have on the red side Projet Blue Lock, the Dark Wicks and Sam, and over on the blue team we have Hugo and Thomas Jean. One Swiss player in here, 3 French players, as we do head on to freestyle to see how this one goes. Map that we didn't get to see in our last match. First time today that we're getting onto this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's anywhere near as intense as last map or last series, then we're in for a treat already, and it looks like it is going to be that way as everybody with different lines stays right next to each other. It doesn't matter. Everybody seems to have practiced a different line there on that turn, but everybody's staying within a tenth, and it is just once again going to come down to that almost no mistakes anywhere throughout these players, although Hugo is going to take a little more penalty snow than the rest of the players. Is going to fall down by just 2/10.
Yeah, Thomas Jean is contesting with 2 cards at the front right now, and he is wheel to wheel with them. Is everyone through the ring point check? They are safe through. I thought for a second as Thomas Jean dropped off the edge of my screen that he was getting caught on it, but everyone's safely through. Some more safely than others, as Projet Blue Lock do move into first and second.
It is Thomas Jean and Hugo just at the back, but it is all going to come down to the wall climb here. Can either of the players make a good landing, stick and get ahead? It doesn't look like. Oh no, there has been a mistake. But it is in the favor of Projet Blue Lock, as Thomas Jean doesn't manage to make it all the way over. Gives them an ace, but I don't think it was going to matter either way. They had those leads locked down.
Yeah, they did. The mistake at the back is doesn't feel as bad as the mistake at the front. Sometimes you're like, well, I was losing the round anyway, you know, I guess. I was never going to make it back. Still, we'd prefer to see those mistakes cut out, especially given that, yeah, Caparol selected this map. This is one of their picks. You'd hope that they would have that identity a little bit more nailed on. Even if it does come down to, you know, each team being very, very close into the identity, you'd hope that they are able to drive it just a little bit faster at times.
Yeah. Currently, the world record on the leaderboards here is a 1:08. So I'm looking to see if we can get below a 1:1. That would be beautiful. Oh dear, that's not going to help whatsoever. Oh, Sam moves all the way from first to last and has to take a full respawn. That's going to send him way back.
That is going to be a long way down. Over 7 seconds behind the field now. That rings checkpoint. Very, very punishing indeed. But still, if Darkwix can snipe, he'll be okay. Thomas Jean goes for the full 360, and Darkwix is close behind, but not close enough. Less than a tenth separates them, but it'll be a round win for Caparol.
Yeah, Projet Blue Lock, well, Darkwix keeps Caparol at bay just about. Manages to keep them that lead. Sam, for the victory. There we go. Okay, still made it. Oh, still made it to the finish line. Perfect. But that's all that matters in the end, surely.
It's, well, yeah, kind of. I mean, getting there faster than your opponent's generally a good idea as well. Generally pretty useful in this round's format. And right now, Projet Blue Lock doing a better job of that than their opponents in Caparol, managing to hold on to a 2-point lead after a couple of rounds. Now we're getting to the kind of middle rounds of the match where a single ace really changes the complexion of the back half.
Indeed. Yeah, it has been pointed out that Projet Blue Lock is
I was trying to ignore it. Deeply upset. Admins, can we just give them a higher seed next time around? So make them first seed just so this never happens.
It's the perfect shade of blue as well. You know how other games sometimes put a cyan as their blue color? This is the perfect shade. It's so sad. Oh, wow.
I'm kind of disappointed, honestly, in our entire admin team. It's a little bit messed up.
Yeah. I mean, look, sometimes you just gotta bend the rules a little bit. That's all.
No, do you know what? You know? No, this isn't the admin's fault. This is Projet Blue Lock's fault for not grinding enough
not
to be the highest
better.
seed.
They're not good enough.
If they had simply been the highest seed coming in, this wouldn't be an issue. And if they would simply drive faster than Darkwix to the line, they'd win this round. Instead, it'll be a draw.
But at the same time, if they do that just to get the blue color, then it kind of defeats the purpose of Blue Lock. You know, kind of like the whole point is that it's an underdog story. So I feel like that's. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you know the anime. I see.
Well, I know it because actually I haven't watched it, but I know about it because Japan did so well in the World Cup, because it is literally about them being bad at the World Cup. Yeah, that's literally the plot.
That's pretty funny. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, there's a crash from someone who will now be drifting down the leaderboard. It was Sam, who is now going to be adrift of those cars up the front and trying to chase them down in the back half of this map. Thomas Jean and Hugo will race around this corner. They're looking clean, but this ring checkpoint has claimed lives before. It may claim lives again. Nope. They're fine. Our first two will get through cleanly, and Darkwix is behind him as well. A little bit inside here. He doesn't have the speed then coming out of the next turn as he tries to cut deep inside. And isn't that always the temptation when you're behind? To go deeper into the corner, that momentary feeling of I'm catching, only to realize you have less speed. This time around, he does have a little bit more speed, and it's going to come down to the finish line. Can he claw a point back for his team? He goes very low off the jump. He'll clip a little bit, and Tomajan has speed to get to the line, but Darkwix really put the pressure on in the last couple of turns.
Yeah, although Caparol holding hands right to the end there. It's a brilliant time, a 1:08. I just realized, I like looked at it and then I had to think about it for a sec. That's an amazing time.
Yep.
That already puts you in the top 3 worldwide. And Caparol take back that lead.
Yeah, and now that everyone in chat thinks the Weeb conversation was over and is unmuted, we can go right back to talking about anime at the start of this round. It's the underdog story, and Projet Blue Lock, they're fighting back in this right now. Their non-map pick. Let's go!
No, you can't do that. We need to limit the amount of Weeb talk that we have through. I think what we mentioned an anime last time, didn't we? Oh yeah, we mentioned JoJo last time.
We
can't.
Yeah.
It was only like for a second, but we need to limit, just a certain amount. You can't too much is unhealthy. It's like your food pyramid, your anime pyramid.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll talk instead about this round, which is incredibly close. No big mistakes just yet as we head into the identity, but it is 2 players on the red team in the lead. Hugo is quick up that wall, though, and Hugo will crash. Too quick for his own good. Tomajan might snipe 4 thousandths of a second away from turning that one into a draw.
Oh my god. No, I'm sorry, this is an anime. It has to be. That's just the the anime script, isn't it?
Sure, why not?
4,000.
1 ace away from a win now. Both teams are on a match point. And again, reminder, this was Caparol's map pick. They'll really want to be picking up a win here, as whichever team does so will put themselves on a match point. And Projet Blue Lock putting themselves on match point as they move on to one of their picks, that'd be very scary for our blue team.
Yeah. Really important now that everybody pushes themselves, and so far, everybody's staying within a 10th of each other all the way throughout this map, but it is going to come down first off to this jump. Everybody makes it all the way through, and then finally to that last part of the map.
Yeah, Hugo at the back right now. Caparol are trailing from the Projet Blue Lock players, but we've seen this wall ride catch players out before, and we saw a near snipe in the last round as well. Heading into it potentially for the final time as 2 cars in red do lead from our 2 cars in blue. Sam and Darkwix, both of them will make it over, but the speed is there for Hugo, and we'll get another round as Hugo catches Darkwix on the final turn.
Man, Hugo always takes such a risky line at the end there. We've seen him bonk once or twice, but every time he gets it right, it is unbelievable the amount of speed he takes over everybody else in the lobby right at the end.
It's fast, and it means that we do have the potential for a tiebreaker here now. If Caparol do get a first and a third, if Projet Blue Lock are second and fourth, if Caparol win this round, we'll be moving to 10 points apiece. But an ace either way would still finish this out. A win for Projet Blue Lock would win them this map.
Once again, very close so far. Hugo dropping back a little bit, but that is not due to his mistake. That is due to everybody else just having absolutely some of the most clean lines we've seen. The pace on this map, I feel like we have not appreciated enough. Everybody on the server putting in insane times so far. We've seen so many under 1 minute, 1 second.
Tomajan, he is fast, but he jumps a little bit further than the others and now will be falling a little bit behind as they do have the speed advantage from landing earlier on that hill. So we'll come down to the identity one more time. Tomajan trying to get in front of Darkwix, will not do so, and with a first and a third, Blue Lock will close out the map. They will take victory on their opponent's pick and will head on match point to their final pick of the match.
You couldn't set it up any better. This is here we are. I think by picking a name like Blue Lock, you set yourself up for this kind of, it's fate.
Yeah, it's not fate, it's flip of faith, actually, that we're going to be moving on to here next. Got him! All right, absolutely so destroyed on stream, live in front of many, many people, as we will move on to this 6th map of the match. Caparol trying to claw this one back, trying to bring us to the randomized map, which, as we all know, is probably Gyroscope.
Oh yeah, of course. It always is. That's how it works. But Flip of Faith is one of those maps, once again, where it is just going to come down to the line you take. How risky is it? How safe is it? because you're going to gain a lot of time if you get a risky line, but obviously, if you miss one of those jumps, you are in the mud, literally and figuratively. Actually, no, there's no mud down there, but still.
Literally, someone will come to us. Oh, that's Darkwix going for a bit of a ride, bumping off that corner, managing to recover it, and so still somehow very, very close. And I think that's the most illegal wallbang I've ever seen in terms of the fact that he got to continue at all.
Yeah, it actually kind of propelled him forward almost. Yeah, maybe you lose a gear, but at the same time, the fact that you went further than everybody else towards that checkpoint, that feels, maybe we found the new speedrun line there. If you can get that with some speed, no, maybe. But Sam so far does have the most pace.
Does have the most pace and is holding off two players from Caparul right now. Will either of them be able to catch? Sam is clean and he lands so much quicker than anyone else. And Tomajan, he landed very late and it'll come down to the line where Darkwix manages to snipe him out with an earlier landing.
2.5 hundredths there between the last two players, and it does mean that Project Blue Lock do take the lion's share of the points in that round, giving them that start that they need. Once again, it is their map pick, so we do expect them to be slightly more proficient here.
You'd hope so. You would hope so. And I think that last jump was incredibly impressive by Darkwix, getting that early landing. And that's true in a lot of this map. Just landing a little bit earlier does get you going again faster. As we see Hugo managing to pull away now from Tomajan. But Tomajan is pulling away from both players of Project Blue Lock, as they will now move through the rest of this track. And with the turns that are left here, we're expecting it to come back down to the identity once again.
Yeah, once again, everybody staying relatively close. This time, a matter of half a second. Darkwix does have a lot of speed, but he turns into the corner, and it means now that it's all up to Sam to keep ahead. Takes a lot of penalty grass, though, and that puts you even further back. Thomas, Sean, and Hugo take the first and second places, and they can take it as safe as they want. Thomas Sean flies high into the air, takes a lot of time to land on the ground, but it doesn't matter. They take an ace for almost free there.
Darkwix will crash again one more time, and Sam, having crashed the first time on the jump, will finish 8 seconds behind his opponents, and Darkwix, for the moral victory, will get across the line nearly 14 seconds behind them. But that is an ace for Caparul, and they do move into the lead on this map.
In the meantime, I have received confirmation that Ascent have won against Arctic Raptors 4-1. They'll be moving forward to the semi-finals.
That is lovely news. That is another semi-finalist now locked in this one. Well, we're getting closer to it, but we are not there just yet. Caparul looking to bring us to a 6 map, and Sam makes it up somehow. Gonna need an action replay on that one. Darkwix didn't make it somewhere. Sam will drop behind both of his opponents now, as they will pull away again for a few tenths, and Caparul on track for another ace.
Man, it seems like, I don't know, maybe there's a curse when you pick a map. So far, Caparul on their opponent's map pick seem to be almost perfect, and it seems like a lot of mistakes coming out so far from Blue Lock, but maybe that is just building up to the final victory where, you know, again, the storyline will be perfect.
Yeah, that would be absolutely lovely. That will be the ace. Cleanly through the final jump. Caparul move a full 5 points in front of Project Blue Lock, and one more ace would bring us to map 7, which again, as we all know, is definitely Gyroscope.
Yes, obviously. That fate will always have it that Gyroscope is always the last map, and although it wasn't last time, but we don't talk about the times that it isn't, because that would
well, yeah, that was because someone picked it. All right, the players ruled it by actually selecting it. It's kind of messed up when you think about it. That's a bit of a crash out there. That was Hugo, I believe, losing a bit of speed on that one. That's rough. That jump has been claiming lives, but it's somehow still car scraping over the edge of it every time.
Yeah, although Sam is on track for an incredible time after taking an insanely close first jump, just a matter of millimeters away from the edge, but gives you so much more speed. Stays half a second now ahead of his competitors, and that's exactly what Project Blue Lock need towards the end of the map, though it seems like Tomajan and Hugo have been catching up slowly by each corner. It's going to come down to just a 10th, and Sam bonks. It's once again just the risky line that has given away Caparul an ace and the map victory to go 3-3.
Brutal. That's tough. Darkwix took a lot of penalty grass leading up to the final jump, and Sam, he takes a lot of wall in the final jump. And that means 10-2. Caparul make it look easy on their opponent's selection. We head to map 7. Show me Gyroscope. Any second. Oh.
Oh.
Well, you know,
Well,
sometimes, well, like, honestly, a little bit disappointing, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
We've already seen Agility Dash today. I don't know. That's
feels bad, like, honestly. I don't... Do we have to cast this one?
yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna go get a cup of tea.
Can we throw it to break? Is that...
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Either way, this is still going to be a very exciting finish. And honestly, on Agility Dash, I think we're going to have a lot of fun on this final identity. This is what you want from a map 7. This is what we want to see from our players. Who will pull it out and who starts strongest in round 1 here?
Last time we saw this map, players were neck and neck for full map, and once again, it's just one of those maps where anything can happen because you're going so fast the whole time, and it's not just speed fun, it's speed not very fun because you have to pay attention the whole time, otherwise you're going to crash into a wall, so everybody is going to be right up and next to each other. Thomas Jean gets so close to the edge there, could have lost a lot of time, but it's all going to come down to, once again, the end of the map where you are jumping over those little plastics.
It is so close through this middle section of the map as well. There are 2 battles going on at the moment. Hugo and Darkwix are inside each other, holding hands up in first place. Cat is sitting around the campfire with those 2 at the front, and Thomas Jean is gaining on them as well. Sam is there,
Wix!
And there's a big crash out from Wix right now. It comes down to whether or not Sam can hold on, whether or not Sam can snipe away one of these positions, turn this round into a draw. Is managing to get the inside line. Hugo comes out with more speed into the road transitions, and Hugo looking a little bit cleaner. Thomas Jean drifting away from those 2 leaders.
Sam goes very risky over those side jumps, but does manage to stay ahead, but less speed. Oh, no!
Thomas Jean
Oh
crashes.
my god, both of them crashed!
Darkwix will take second. It's an ace for Projet Blue Lock.
That is unbelievable. Both of them. Oh my god.
Sure, why not? Why not have it end like that this time around? Projet Blue Lock, that is the start they would have wanted on this final map.
No way.
Ain't no way that's how it goes down.
Who let Caparol cook?
Yeah. you gotta turn off the oven sometime, man. And that time around, I think, look, the oven left on a bit long. The plastic, it was getting sticky under their wheels. This is why you don't put plastic in the oven. Always take the plastic base off your pizza before you put it in the oven, guys.
Don't put metal in the microwave either. Don't put tin foil in the microwave. Bad idea.
This is just good advice that we are giving.
me when I put a fork in the microwave to see it hopping around.
All right, do not do that.
Don't
That's
do
very
that.
important.
Do not do that.
Equally, do not both crash out on the identity of Agility Dash. It will give an ace to your opponents. That's what happened last round for Caparol. Projet Blue Lock right now, they are slightly slower on track than both of their opponents, but we're going to get an identity again. That's how it happens to track. It's the same every time.
Oh my god, once again, 3/10 separating these players, and you look, 3/10 when it comes down to the last part of this map is absolutely nothing. The grand equalizer at the end here is one of the equalizers of all time.
It's one of the equalizers, and it's about to do some equalizing as Hugo leads from Sam, leads from Thomas Jean. Darkwix trailing behind both of them. Hugo very close on that one, and he slips out. Sam will take a round win. Darkwix is safe, and Projet Blue Lock move to 5. Caparol will have to make do with a single point.
Caparol cannot help themselves but not make the end of the map there. Hugo, for the second time in a row, crashes out on the 3rd jump of it. And it gives, once again, Blue Lock more points.
Oh, this is dangerous. This is that scoreline we saw so often yesterday, and more often than not, the team that gets the ace into a round win goes on to win the match. It is such a commanding lead so early on.
Well, Caparol have a lot of work to do now. 4 points behind already, and Blue Lock, it seems like with the anime power, are absolutely killing it now, coming to their last map. They took away Caparol's map pick. Caparol took away their map pick, and now here we are on Agility Dash, and they just seem to be the more consistent team on the identity.
They have been more consistent. They have been falling behind in previous rounds on the rest of the track. This time around, though, it's Thomas Jean who's fallen a little bit back from the front 3. Hugo's still up and in the mix. And when I say he's fallen back, he's only a few tenths behind now. He's a lot more. He's a lot more behind now as he will fall out the side of that loop. And Hugo needs to snipe both of his opponents on this identity to turn this one into a draw.
It's going to take a lot of work, but luckily he's only 2/10 behind, and so far, before he gets to the identity, he seems to have a lot of speed throughout all of these turns. He seems to get them all right, but he clips the edge on one of the side jumps, and then he clips the edge when he gets back from the respawn, and he's pretty much gifted this one to Projet Blue Lock. All they need to do is safe their way to the finish. Oh
Sam,
no, there's a bump from Sam, and he has to respawn. He may just give this one away once again, but he's so far ahead, and Hugo flies off to the left into the wall, breaks one of the lights. It's all over now as Projet Blue Lock take another ace and get themselves up to 8 points.
Oh, I'm losing my mind to just drive the identity.
I didn't have one to begin with.
Well, entirely fair. All right, chat. Projet Blue Lock are on match point. Get your ayayas ready. Their plot armor is simply too strong. Caparul are unable to make it through agility dash without crashing out because Projet Blue Lock, they just got that anime protagonist look around them.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Caparol now to bring out the... Oh, man, I can't... Is it Makanai that means I won't lose? I don't know. I can't remember any... Like, I once took a Japanese... what is it? The Duolingo course.
Sure.
It didn't go well. I gave up very quickly. Either way, it's so tight once again. Everybody's staying within 3/10 of each other.
Everyone is within 3/10, and Projet Blue Lock, all they need is a win. It doesn't even need to be an ace at this point. Caparol trying to deny it, though. It's going to be difficult to do so. Darkwix is up here. Thomas Jean has speed entering this drift, and look at the line from Darkwix as he overtakes 2 cars. Will exit with less speed, though, as he maybe got a little bit too ambitious. Ambition before adhesion, to steal a quote from an excellent racing commentator from a different sport. There's a complete crash from Darkwix, and now Sam needs to try and snipe someone out. Trying to salvage even a draw would put them just a single point away from winning.
All they have to do is ace 3 times. All they have to do is ace 3 times. All they have to do is ace 3 times. Here's the first time. Sam has more speed, but they both get to the end unscathed, and it is the first ace for Caparul. Here comes the comeback!
It's potentially on, and I will tell you, I genuinely thought Tomajan had missed the finish there and he'd fallen off to the left of it. But no, he was fine. He made it through. 2 more aces. How hard can it be? Will Blue Lock's plot armor fall apart, crumble at this final stage? Surely not. Surely they can make it cleanly to the finish a couple more times.
Ayayaya's in chat giving Blue Lock their energy. Nama's in chat giving Caparul their energy. It's a battle for the ages. Nothing will top this. Caparul, all they need to do is get 2 more aces to bring it back from the death. And so far they are keeping up with Project Blue Lock.
But it is a first and a second for Projet Blue Lock right now, as they are leading from both players of Caparol. But it's so close, and a slightly scuffed landing sends Darkwix right to the back. Tomajan needs to not fall out of this loop again. This time around, he gets close to that corner, but he won't touch it.
It's gonna once again come down to the wire. 1/10 now between every single member of this lobby. Projet Blue Lock, all they need to do is get 1 first place, and they steal away that victory once again from Caparol. And so far, what we've seen from Caparol has, well, not been the most. The end has not been perfect. What happened there?
I thought Tomajan was gone. I thought he was gone. Sam is in first place looking for a draw. Will anyone crash out? It's a crash. It's a crash. That's the match. That will be it as Projet Blue Lock take a first and a third. Tomajan will make it to the line anyway. Get your ayayas in chat. This team is going to a semi-final.
That is the plot armor right there. Amazing. Blue Lock, they're heading to a semi-final. It's better than Japan have ever done in a World Cup. So beautiful.
Yeah, it turns out all you had to do was switch the sport entirely from football to Trackmania. And,
who knew? Who knew the country that... Who knew the country that had running in the 90s would be good at driving cars? Who knew?
I think there was no possible way that we could have seen this coming. We will jump over to our faces very briefly, just so that we can say, hey, this is our quarterfinals. They're finished now. But that just means that we're about to launch into our semi-finals, and we're going to go to a quick break. We're going to be back with those semi-finals, and that means there will be a finals after it. And why would you go away? Look at the level of Trackmania that we are getting, the excitement that we are getting. We look forward to seeing you back here in just a few brief seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to the Trackmania World Tour EU Regional Day 2, where we've finished the quarterfinals. They're gone, they're out of the way. We've gotten rid of 4 more teams, and good riddance to them. No, I'm lying. They're all lovely people, I'm sure, and very good drivers, but we're into our top 4, and that means semi-finals time, and that means we're going to be jumping over to teams that we have seen yesterday as well, Twiggy. We're going to be watching Mint versus Ascent.
Yeah, we saw, I think, Ascent right at the end of the day, actually, winning 3-1. I can't remember against who, but it was a very fun match. That one was, I mean, Ascent are an incredible team, honestly. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these two teams can do now. Obviously, yesterday, the stakes weren't quite as high. Today, it's going to be, you know, the pressure's definitely on now.
The pressure will be on, and we'll see what these players do end up doing. Now that it's in best of 7 as well, we'll be seeing a lot more from these teams, as we discussed previously as well. Just waiting currently for players to jump into the lobby. We have the bracket up on screen for you all at the moment as well. As you can see, Serotonin Events, having moved on from that one, will be facing up against Projet Blue Lock, and we watched both of them qualify through, so we've decided to jump down into this other half of the bracket where Evo Pink lost out to Mint, and Arctic Raptors were taken down by Ascent.
I like that every single game in the quarterfinals was completely different in terms of how many rounds
we got the full spread.
Yeah, the full Monty of different teams there. That's good. I like
that out. All right, so then why not make a quick prediction on this one then? How many points do you think are going? How many maps are going in each direction, and who do you think is going to win, Twiggy? I know it's a hard one.
Oh, slow down immediately, but slow down and parkour band. Wow, okay, I'm going to say, oh my god, they're going so quick. Okay, the random map is going to be Flip of Faith. There you go.
Okay. Oh, interesting choice here. It is still plenty of maps left to pick. Agility Dash as a second map. We'll be seeing that one nice and early on for the red team, then back and forth. And we saw that one causing some problems. I think that just the turnaround on that one and seeing some people come out with a lot more speed puts pressure on some players, then forced to try and risk a little bit more through the section and leading to plenty of exciting crashes. Lots of fun to be had there. We may still see reps on this one banned away in one of our previous matches, and we didn't get a chance to see it then. Freestyle will be picked up as well. Gyroscope, Flip of Faith, reps, and Slippy Slides all still on the board. 2 of them to be picked yet.
Still yet to see Slippy Slides on stream so far, which is so sad because it's so fun. It's so wicked at the end. That's all I want to see. Oh my god, it's actually getting close to maybe getting Flip of Faith as a random map. Imagine. Oh my god. Oh, they picked it. No, I thought
the other way
they both came up at the same time. I thought
you'd done it. You thought you called it off.
I got baited so hard.
Multiple times. Honestly, too much baiting happening on stream. You've been too often. It has happened to you this evening, Twiggy. But it will be sad. Slippy Slides if we get there, and so now we are praying, we have our fingers crossed that we will get to see Slippy Slides on the first time on this World Tour EU regional stream as our 7th map, as a random map. That'd be a great way to see it for the first time on stream.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, last series we only got to see like the last 3 maps of the series, but still, even that, we didn't even build up the whole storyline, and still it was one of the most intense matches I've ever seen. Even the first match, which was a 4-0, was intense. So I like ending it on Slippy Slides would just be, look, everybody crossing the line. It's already, you know, it's 9-9. Everyone's crossing the line after that last bug slide, and it's just that would be amazing. I would love that.
I'd be fully on board for that.
I can see it right now in my mind's eye.
Picture it, manifest it into existence right now, Twiggy.
Manifesting round 7.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes, but we have a long way to go before we get there, and we're going to be kicking things off on Aero Pipes. First time seeing Aero Pipes today on stream, and this is a fun one as well. This is definitely, look, all the identities cause problems. That's like literally that's what they're there for. It's kind of the whole point of the identity. Aero Pipes especially, though, we have seen it decide rounds by itself in much the same way that happens on Agility Dash. So Aero Pipes into Agility Dash, this is going to be a high skill beginning to this match.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those maps that people are going to stay very close right up until the end. There's nothing really insane before we get to the identity here on Aero Pipes, but I mean, it's just as well because that identity is killer.
That identity is killer. We are into our first round here. Mint in the blue, and isn't that much more fitting than we had last round? A nice fresh minty blue up against Ascent in the red. That is Zerar and Arthanir for Ascent. It's Tricky and Razzie for Mint.
Going to the first ice slide now. Everybody stays relatively close. I think Razzie had a little bit of a clip on one of the inner edges right at the start of the map. Does lose about half a second to everybody else, but once again, it's really not much of a problem if you're slightly further behind everybody, and Tricky is staying well ahead, so no problems there.
No problems at all for Tricky just yet, and Zerar will be overtaken by Razzie through this turn as well. Razzie getting right back in the mix on this one. We're about to see the Aeropipes identity for the first time in this match. Last couple of turns coming up. Tricky leads from Arthur from Razzie.
So important that you get that good outside line, so you have a lot of speed coming into here. The more speed you have going onto these pipes, the less likely you are to make a mistake. First off, Tricky gets over unscathed, but Arthur has so much more speed, overtakes, and Tricky and Razzie both does just get the slightest of slowdowns and allow Zero through. Okay, that's the first round. That's a blow from me.
That's a blow for... I'll join you in blowing that one as well. The snipe on the finish line. Tricky was leading into the pipes and just couldn't hold on to the speed. Got a little bit of a slowdown, and Razzie with an early mistake this time around. Tricky is leading again, but we've seen how little that can mean.
Oh man, it's going to be like this all the way through. Luckily, we're not going to get draws all throughout in terms of that kind of intensity, right? Oh no, oh dear.
Look, he's had a little bit of a tangle with the sign there and is now being gained on by Razzie. But the battle up at the front is still a dogfight for first place. There's duel ongoing as Arthur once again trying to catch up with Tricky.
Seems like there are now 2 packs here, and it is one of each team, so it is all going to come down to still how you can beat that second person in there. Once again, we come to the final dirt turn before this one. Everybody getting that one pretty much perfectly. Nobody touching that wall, but it is, once again, going to come down to the pipes. And Tricky, once again, opens up in first. Last round, he dropped that round out to Arthur, but Arthur is the one who has fallen down this time. Gets overtaken by his teammate, but it is a draw, and Mint stay 3 points behind.
I have... actually no idea how Arthur managed to survive on that pipe. He got a big slowdown on the first one, landed awkwardly on the second one, and somehow clung onto that pipe long enough to get over and then turn around and finish. Very, very impressive work to save that round for Arthur, turning what looked like a near certain loss as he was nearly crashing out as Razzie came roaring up behind into a draw instead. Very, very well played.
Yeah, so far it does seem like Tricky is doing incredibly well. There was an unfortunate mishap on the pipes, but you know, that's the thing, right? You never know what's going to happen on the pipes. It is really a matter of millimeters can send one of your wheels off the edge, and your body makes contact with the middle of the pipe, and suddenly you've lost 2 gears, and you're crying, and you know, like your birthday's ruined. Like anything can happen there.
It's at anyone's birthday. Look, if it is anyone's birthday in this match, that'd be great. But
or in
who
chat.
knows?
I mean, statistically, there are over 1,000 people in chat. Like, statistically, it's someone's birthday. That's all I'm saying.
All you need is like 30 people to guarantee that 2 of the people in the same room have the same birthday or whatever. It can come close to guaranteeing it. Look, I don't know enough about the mats, and I barely know enough about these pipes to talk about them. And Razzie seems to have lost a little bit of his way as well. And there goes Zerar. Arthur sniped on the line in front as well, which makes it a first and a third for Ascent, and they will take a round win.
Man. Ascent just about stay ahead there in that one. Tricky, he seems consistent, but he keeps getting slowdowns on that second pipe. Keeps going a little too far to the right, it seems like.
Yeah. Someone in chat has corrected me. It's 50% chance if 30 people in a room of 2 of them having the same birthday.
99% for 71 people, I think, something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
so with 1,400 people here in Twitch chat, I'd say we're somewhere over 99% the 2 of you share a birthday. Congrats to whoever you are.
Yeah, congrats to the 2 people who have a birthday on March 14th. Well done. Specifically, that's the one. That's the one I'm saying.
Yeah, well done to you guys. We're very proud of you. We're also very proud of Ascent, who have been driving very well on this map, but right now are falling behind Mint on this round. And Mint, they've been close to picking up round wins. They feel like they need one. If they drop another round on the pipes, it's going to feel very, very difficult.
Everybody in chat now just pasting.
Look, we can deal with this after the round ends, okay?
There's
Aeropipes
Trackmania
to be played. Tricky, Arthur will just go for the most wicked entry to the pipes I've ever seen, and somehow is still going to make it to the line. But at what cost? The cost of his wickedness is that he will drop to a 3rd place. Tricky and Razzie will find the ace and move back within 1 point.
Mint doing a great job to catch up there. There's Tricky finally getting what he deserves on that one. By the way, October 3rd, anyone?
I was going to say, I think I'm the least likely to share a birthday with anyone here because I'm a leap year baby. And so I'm February 29th.
No, 29th, sorry,
Good
that's
effort,
a leap year.
yeah.
Well,
Which
yeah, no,
does
same
mean that there's probably significantly less of us floating around.
Yeah, I think that that makes the likelihood quite a lot less. There is an October 3rd. Let's go. Let's go. We hit the 99%. We are the 99%.
The complete opposite of the 1%. Yeah, someone is pinging me in chat, but look, there's rounds going on. I gotta watch some Trackmania, okay? Guys, we'll deal with this after stream, okay?
Stop putting messages in chat and watch the Trackmania. These people have come here to play. There's high stakes going on, and all
it's
of
so
you...
close. Mint are pulling it back right now.
None of you are taking it
If they get a 1 and a
seriously.
third, they're going to tie us back up on 7 points apiece, and it's going to be close. Look at these 3 cars inside each other as we round the final turn.
Oh,
who is going to pull this one off? Tricky behind the 2 red cars, and both of them get it clean, but Tricky gets it cleaner. He overtakes Zero, who's going to crash on out, and if Razzie can get here, he will! It's a drawn round as Arthur will snipe away first place and will move just 1 point higher for each team.
Either way, that does put Ascent at track point. All they need now is an ace. But so far, Tricky and Razzie have been making it so difficult for them to pull away with a first and second that I don't see that as being likely. I think we're going another couple rounds here.
I think we're going another couple rounds. That feels safe, but anything can happen and usually does. That's right. I'm just going to quote every F1 commentator I can today. That seems to be the plan.
Lights out and away we go.
It's lights out and away we go. Halfway through the round is maybe not the time to use that one, but we'll use it when we get to the next map. Ascent are currently looking for an ace to close this one out. Mint are looking to deny them the win right here, right now, and Razzie is the player doing that at the moment. Tricky will join him as they take first and second away. Arthur is in 4th place, is still very, very close to every other car in this match. Zera a little bit slower through this section, will be overtaken by his teammate, and we're looking for a mistake from Mint on these pipes, or they're going to find the ace.
Razzie hits the wall. Tricky still has speed, but Arthur and Zera both overtaken. Zera looking to push further forward. Arthur just has a little more speed coming through to the pipes. It's all going to come down to these landings. Arthur gets a clip on the edge, but so does Tricky. And it means that Zera moves all the way forward, but Tricky and Razzie still make it through. Tricky doesn't make it to the end. He has to respawn.
It'll be fine. Ascent will still win the round. They'll pick up 2 points for themselves, and Mint will now need an ace to deny the win from Ascent and to pick up victory themselves on map 1.
At the very least, Razzie, as I predicted, made it no ace for Ascent. But yeah, now it's going to have to be real. But hey, look, here's the thing. If they do get that ace, they immediately win. So, hey, Tricky. Oh, that's not... Well, it's going to be Tricky to get the ace now.
It's going to be a little bit difficult for Tricky to make his way back up into 1st or 2nd place.
At least acknowledge it.
But it could happen. Oh, Arthur's crashed. There's one. A second one for Tricky. A second one available.
Oh my! Oh, not if he does that. That's
going to make it harder. We'll move up and we'll look for a mistake. Oh.
Okay, at least you reacted to it. That's all I wanted. I just wanted you to react to it. You completely ignored me the first time I did it, so I had to do it again. I'm so sorry to everybody in chat who's posting ha-has, but I just had to get him to react.
We are getting across the line, and Tricky is trying to catch Zera. Still needs a mistake from Zera. Still need an ace for Mint. As long as Zera can hold on to a spot in the top 2, his team will win this map. Zera, here come the pipes. Do you have it in you? He has it for the first one.
Oh,
does he have it for the second one? He might just take first place in the round. It's going to be so close. It doesn't matter in the end as he takes second place, but that is enough to win the map.
It's all over. Man, so close once again. We're going to be seeing this over and over and over again, but it is Ascent that do take Mint's map pick, which is, we could get a 2-0 now. That's the problem now, is that Mint really have to put on the afterburners to catch back up.
They will need to steal away one of their opponent's maps here, but of course it's best of 7. They will get guaranteed 2 chances to do so to keep themselves alive, but they would love to do it here. It'd be nice to just do it as soon as you can, and it's on Agility Dash, and if there's one thing that we know about Agility Dash, Tricky, is that anything can happen on that identity.
Yeah. We've seen, I think, the amount of French people we've seen flying into walls already here on this map today is unbelievable.
So you're saying it's Zerar and Tricky, the two players to watch here on this identity?
I don't think we've really... we've seen, what, 7 French players and one Swiss player on this track so far, so...
Yep. That's turns out there's a lot of very good French Trackmania players. I think we may be the first people to notice that. I think nobody's probably ever noticed that before.
First people, 100%. I have never seen anybody talk about how good French people are at Trackmania before. Yeah.
And hey, there's 2 of them in this lobby still, but it's only 50% French. And, well, right now they are not leading. Tricky and Zara, though, are trying to catch back up to Arthur, who's doing it for Belgium. And Razzie, he's doing it as well. He's going to catch back up and make it through the track here. And trying to catch back up to Tricky and Arthur. But again, identity on this map so important, as it is on many of the maps, but on this one especially, it can come down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, you could take a respawn in the middle of the map and still, you never know what's going to happen. You still could take 2nd or 3rd place because so many people make mistakes right here at the end. And as we come to the side jumps, this is where some of the first mistakes come in because it is a risky jump at the end there, and it is Razzie to take a slowdown.
Razzie taking a big slowdown, but look at how close everyone else is. Zara, Arthur, and Tricky. Tricky might have more speed. He might get Arthur on the line. Not quite. Arthur holds on to take a win by 23 thousandths, as Razzie will bring up the rear, will cruise across the line, and get 1 point for his team.
Oh, man. 23 thousandths and Ascent take the first round. 2-1 is going to stay close all the way throughout this one, I feel like. But once again, it was just down to Razzie taking a little clip that put the team on the back foot there.
Let's go Ascent. They are looking to move this lead to 2-0 here on Agility Dash, trying to get another map win under their belts. Mint, on the other hand, they need to start racking up some round wins right now. They need to start looking to take this map away from their opponents, and Zera getting a slowdown like that, that is definitely going to help them out.
But again, I mean, you never know. 1 second is nothing when you get to the end of this map. Although, it seems like all of these players did get through the end relatively unscathed, so all that matters is getting it as clean as possible. Because the thing is, not only is it difficult to make the jumps, but it's plastic. If you go a little bit to the left, if you go too much to the angle and you're a couple degrees off, you're going to lose time to the player behind you who gets it more straight, and that's the big risk you take at the end there.
Risks will need to be taken as well for Razzie and Tricky, trying to get a round win if they can get past Arthur. Arthur is holding on. White knuckles as he holds on to this first place, trying to turn this one into a draw. Zara has dropped to a full 2 seconds now behind this leading pack, and they don't need to really risk this final identity. They can take it a relatively safe Mint if they want to turn into a draw. They're just hoping for Arthur to crash. He won't. All 3 through cleanly means a draw on the round.
Razzie almost lost control there on the second jump, went for a very straight line and just almost missed that first jump. But, well, whether by an inch or a mile, you made it. That's fine. All good. So, well, I mean, you just got to do it, what? Probably at least 5 more times. Go on.
Yeah, just keep going. It'll be totally fine if you can keep driving fast and if you can keep not crashing the identity as well. We're still within 1 point here after 2 rounds. Mint have trailed by 1 to Ascent. They are looking again for a round win. They want to feel like they are in the lead. They'll want to get that lead away from Ascent, but Ascent doing everything they can to make it difficult.
Yeah, and once again, this one is their map pick. They should be feeling a little more confident on this one, although I feel like everyone is equally fine with every single map on this one. Maybe you've got an Instaban that you don't like, but apart from that, pretty much everybody is going to be feeling just fine with all of these. We've reached the point where it really doesn't matter if you have a specific proficiency or not. You're just an all-round good player, and as Ascent start to take the lead on this one, despite it being only 3/10, that's going to make all the difference here.
Yeah, they have the lead, and we've seen it with everyone consistent through this final identity. This lead going into it could be that much more important. As long as you can get through this pre-identity series of jumps, definitely an area where players get some slowdowns as well. Everyone nice and safe through it right now. Arthur and Zera continue to hold on. Razzie behind them. Tricky even closer. Tricky has speed. He's going to go past them all. Look at him go. There it goes back, though, as Arthur will regain across the line to take the win and to put Ascent a further point ahead.
You know when you watch Fast and Furious and you're like, cars don't do that. They don't just go faster and slower and faster, and they don't just overtake each other in a straight line. Yeah. Yes, they do. Welcome to Trackmania.
Yeah, that's how it kind of goes, especially on this identity. That does seem to be the feeling of it. That definitely felt like Mint were going to at least be able to take the draw again to remain within 1, but no, Ascent are now on 5 points, halfway to the total they need, halfway to that 10 mark.
Oh man. Again, for the first part of the map, no mistakes whatsoever. I mean, that's the thing, right? On the round of 128, on the round of 64, even on the round of 32, we were seeing a lot of mistakes on maps like these. We didn't really see Agility Dash, but a lot of the maps where the first half of the map isn't insane, where you would just see mistakes at the start of the round that would set all these players behind. At this point, everybody stays within 2/10 of each other up to the identity.
Those 2/10 though generally favoring Ascent, and it will favor them again. Is there any bit of magic to be pulled out on the identity for the players of Mint? And it'll need to maybe be both of them, because again, just bleeding away firsts and thirds, bleeding away round wins over and over doesn't feel great. And even draws at this point going to start to feel a little bit worse, given you're trailing by 2 points and your opponents are closing in on that 10-point mark. Everyone taking airtime as they head into this identity. Arthanir and Zera, here comes Tricky. Look at the speed that he has. His teammate as well. They'll go through, and Razzie and Tricky both get past Arthanir to turn that into a draw.
Again, Arthanir just goes a little too far off to the left, has to correct, and as soon as you correct on plastic, it's all over for you. You lose 4/10 to everybody who's taking a better line. It's just that tiny. Like, I mean, look, if you're a controller player, you move your stick a millimeter to the left on that one, and you lose 2/10. It's just, it's that is how that's how close things are getting.
I mean, speaking of close, this is
well,
I was gonna say classic hand-holding behavior from all 4 players, and then Tricky decided to make a fool of me. So thanks, Tricky.
I mean, I don't think I really don't think you're the one who made a fool of there. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he's a little more embarrassed that he did that than you are.
Yeah, embarrassed, but, you know, not panicking just yet. There is still time left in this map, but if Razzie can't hold on and if an ace goes Ascent's way on this one, that does start to feel like this is map over. That feels like Ascent will be moving to 2-0 guaranteed, which is a dangerous word, and so we won't bring it up too many more times. Razzie needs to keep holding on is the important thing to note.
Arthanir takes a slightly wide route on one of these corners. Oh my god, I swear I saw Razzie run headfirst into a wall, but he's still going, so I don't know. That may have just been ping. I have no clue what Zera. I just saw. Oh, Zera. I'm not sure where that slowdown came from, but he took some airtime, and suddenly he's in 3rd place. It's so close up at the front, though. Oh my. 400. And it is another draw.
That was close. Arthanir this time around was trying to roll back, but it is another draw, and that, as I said in a couple of rounds ago, does feel bad for Mint when you're 2 points behind. Your opponent was already on 5. They've drawn 2 rounds in a row, and all of a sudden Ascent are just 1 ace away from taking the map.
Oh boy. Ascent, all they need to do is come first and second. So far in the first part of the map, they have done that almost every time through. Tricky and Razzie have had trouble keeping up in the first half of the map, but as soon as you get to the identity, it seems like they are the ones that are cleaner on that one, that take it more confidently and manage to keep more speed throughout. So it's all going to come down to that one. If Ascent can get it cleanly, they should be fine.
Yeah, Tricky's carrying a lot of speed through the middle of the map now, but left turn coming up, that's a bit of a drift, and that means that any of the speed advantages are shed a little bit directly afterwards as well. And here's where your speed could tell if you were holding on to a bit more. Razzie is gaining on those 2 cars in front, but not gaining by enough, and after the loop, they are still holding on to first and second. Ascent will look to close it out. Arthanir misjudges his line, clips a checkpoint, and now it's skulking on pace for yet another draw.
Tricky and Razzie now fighting to keep up. If they can get that first place as well, they can move themselves into another position where they are on track point. All they need to get is 1 first place and then a 3rd as well as that. But so far, I mean, Zera is infallible up front. Has to slow down a bit to stay on the course. Razzie is catching up, but does not get within a 10th. Arthanir manages to get ahead of Tricky, however. I wasn't looking at the back of the pack, but suddenly that's where the action's happening. Ascent move 1 point away from 10, and now Mint have to get an ace.
Man, that snipe from Arthanir right at the end to take 3rd place away does move them up to 9 instead of 8. And again, 1 point away is a lot more dangerous for opponents than 8 points away. It gives them a lot less breathing room. Now Mint do need that ace. The first and a third does not cut it. A round win just alone does not cut it. A draw will not cut it. If Ascent can find any of those, they will be moving to map 3 with a 2-map lead.
And again, very clean here through the first few turns. Ascent staying ahead, although it is only by a 10th or 2 at this point. Arthur takes a little too wide of a turn on the plastic, falls back just by 1/10 there. It's all, once again, how many times am I going to say it's going to come down to the end of the map? I don't know, but everyone, once again, infallible in the first part of the map. Zerar stays so far ahead, though. He's been absolutely flawless here.
Yeah, is looking clean. He has been very, very quick through the entire map, has been very quick all round long. And right now is holding on to that first place again. Arthur here with a touch at the back will be dropping behind. Razzie and Tricky now pulling away, and they will have to put the pressure on Zerar. They need Zerar to make a mistake in the identity. I don't know if Zerar is going to make a mistake in the identity. He's not done it in a very long time. And here goes Razzie. It's Razzie with a mistake. Tricky now trying to chase down Zerar, who plays it safe, plays it clean. And Zerar with a first place will 1:22.3. A very fast time indeed. Will take a second map for Ascent.
Man. Yeah, I mean, Tricky and Razzie just made too many mistakes in the middle of the map, and it just made a lot of time easy for the Ascent players to just get over the finish line safely. That's all that matters. As soon as you can gain about half a second, suddenly you can take that end part much safer, and you can stay well in. But now Ascent 2 maps up. We're back to Mint's map pick here with back and forth. Let's see if they can bring that one back.
I mean, look, they absolutely cannot afford to lose here on back and forth. Their map pick being down to, they need a win right now. It's going to be tough. It's going to take a while, but it is lights out and away we go for back and forth. Perfectly timed, absolutely flawless. Well, congratulations to me.
Wow, I mean, amazing. Honestly, can I, who would I be in the F1 commentator lineup?
I mean, like...
Which one am I?
Well, if I'm stealing Crofty quotes...
Yeah.
I mean...
I'd like to be Brundle, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was... Yeah. You know, I think you get Brundle, that's fine.
Okay, cool. I was like, is that too much? Is that... No, am I asking too much there? No, that's fine. Okay, cool.
Is comparing ourselves to legendary F1 casters maybe a little bit, like, you know, ego? Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Sure. Glad to hear it.
I mean, look at it like this. Can they post terrible memes on Twitter and still get likes? Probably, yes. But
is that not what Brundle spends his free time doing?
Actually, that's a good point. Oh my god, I actually am Brundle.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Look at Razzie. Razzie. He was inside. He tried for that one. But a clip means that Zerar got an overtake. Ascent with an ace to kick things off on this map. That is not the start Mint needed.
Yeah, and we kind of just talked over a 56.9 from Arthur, which is an insane time.
Nuts. Absolutely wild. Congratulations to Arthur, who's driving really, really fast.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is here, Arthur is just like, yeah, this is your map pick, huh? Your map, yeah? That's funny.
Map pick.
All right, then.
Our map pick, because Arthur is again out to an early lead, and he's been putting in some practice. I think definitely starting to show on this one. Look at the zoop out of that bug slide on the way out of the plastic, and look at how much time and distance it has gained him over everyone else. Tricky is trying to catch up with Zerar, but right now I'm feeling like we're on pace for a second ace in a row.
Man, Ascent is so clean already on this map. I mean, has fallen into their trap by picking, I think, maybe their favorite map. This is absolutely insane. They might both be on track for almost a 6.9 here. It's going to be close.
Yeah, let's jump up front, because right now it needs to be a mistake from Ascent, and I don't think they're going to make one here. They just take it. Well, okay, Arthur will crash. Can anyone snipe him out? Arthur crashes again!
Arthur,
he crashed a second time on the far side of the finish line and still gets in second place. Razzie nearly sniped him, but couldn't. It's a second ace. A center 6-0.
That shouldn't be allowed. Crashing twice and still taking that. Oh, now Zerar's throwing for content. That's what this is. They're throwing for content.
Yep. Well, okay, I was going to say effectively. That was the worst throw for content I've ever seen, where Arthur still comes second after trying to throw. That's not throwing.
That's what makes it good content. You throw and you still win.
Okay, yeah, well, if Arthur can do it again, and if Zera can somehow pull a win back on this map after that early crash, I'll be incredibly impressed on that one. Right now, Tricky and Razzie are hot on Arthur's tail. Zera are a little bit further behind, about a second behind on that one. You can see them off in the distance, no problem at all. And we'll enter the identity one more time.
Yeah, this identity, not as... look, it's a little more forgiving, I would say. If you know how to drive backwards, there are some tight turns. Apart from that... You know, it's not... Well, look...
Razzie does crash out and is now going to potentially be caught by Zera and will be. Look. And so, in many ways, you've been made a fool of again.
56-6?
Oh my god.
And a 56-7 from Trick... Are you kidding? Sorry?
This is too fast. We gotta calm down, guys.
Razzie. Oh, dear.
Online world record leading into this match was a 56-8.
Oh, okay, so we just got two. We got a world record and a second place at the same time.
That's so
man.
dumb.
You drive 1/10 faster than world record and you lose by a 10th.
Oh boy, that's rough. And right now, Ascent, they could just close this one out easily. They are 8-1. Another round win wins this map for them, and back and forth will be over before it even really feels like it began.
Oh my god. Again, both of them well out ahead on this one, and it just feels like at this point, look, we haven't seen any mistakes, really. Well, apart from Arthur crashing into the finish line twice. But so far, Tricky is catching up. If he can stay ahead, and there's Arthur making a mistake, just as I say it, Tricky will snipe first place.
Arthur
comes third. Oh, man, it's going to be a draw.
It's going to be a draw.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. And now Mint, well, okay, look, all they need to do is ace, what, 3 times in a row?
Yeah.
Doable.
Doable, yeah.
Sure.
Easy.
Definitely need to deny even a single extra point from Ascent. Easier said than done, and it doesn't sound particularly easy when you say it either. So that's the mountain that is now to be climbed by Mint, and we'll see if they can start it off here. It starts with a single ace, it continues on from there, but Arthur already starting to make it difficult. He starts to pull for the lead. It's not a great exit on that bug slide though, and they will be behind through the middle section of the map for one of the first times in a long time.
Well, last time we said that Mint needed 3 aces to get it back. They did get that first ace, so you never know what can happen. And Tricky and Razzie stay with Zera towards the end of the map pit. Arthur falls 1 second behind. Must have clipped somewhere. A little bit slower coming through that part, but we do get into the identity now. Zera takes up the lead, but it's Tricky and Razzie right behind. Maybe with a little more speed coming into this one. Razzie takes a nice inside line. Gets right up behind Zera here. It's going to come down to a matter of milliseconds. And by 200s, Razzie snipes that lead with a 57.0.
And again, it just kind of doesn't matter,
yeah,
unfortunately, because Zera holding on to a second place is enough to pick up a single point, and Ascent will win out on the track. Back and forth goes their favor. They move to match point. They just need one more map.
I have an interesting stat for you right now.
I'd love
Serotonin events have lost their first map in the whole regional to Blue Lock, although they are 2-1 right now in the series. But Blue Lock carry on with their plot armor by taking a map away from the infallible team.
That's pretty impressive, and it sounds like if this one does end quickly, there will be a match to jump on over to. Still going on over there. That's exciting too here on that one. Blue Lock trying to take the fight to Serotonin, but we still have a match ongoing here. Ascent, they have made it look good so far. They are now 3-0 up in map score. They just need one more, and they are back onto one of their picks.
Yeah, and as you can see already, wow. I mean, Zera takes an amazing line that has so much more speed than anyone else on the lobby. And now pulls 1/10. Well, I say so much more speed. He's 1/10 ahead. That is the margin that we're going for here. That's the problem. When I say so much more speed, it is. I mean, all of the players have so much more speed.
Oh, Zera. Well.
Oh, he doesn't have. Yeah,
he's lost a lot of his speed there.
Yeah, yeah. So about that. Sorry, Tricky and Razzie take up first and second place, although Arthur is vying for that spot.
Yep, Arthur will look to turn this one into a draw for his team, as it is Razzie and Tricky looking to. We're around the last corner. We're into the identity. Arthur loses all of his speed, and as long as Tricky and Razzie can get through this identity cleanly, they will take an ace. Mint with an ace to start things off. That's feeling much, much better for them here as we start on freestyle.
Sorry, Ascent. That's my bad. I'm not gonna lie. I'll take the flak on that one. That was kind of I did that.
Yep, I will also let you take the flak on that one. I did nothing wrong at all. And so Mint are out with 3-0, but there's still a few more rounds like that needed if they're going to make their way back into this one. They do need to pick up one map win. A full reverse sweep would be absolutely legendary.
Yeah, cool. And it would also keep us here for a long time. that's the main thing. We can watch Razzie and Tricky for even longer.
Yep.
Isn't that all that matters? Is watching French players play Trackmania for longer.
Yeah, sure.
That's all we're here for.
That's all we're
Everyone
here for.
is here just to watch French players play Trackmania. Sorry, they're both car games.
I don't know what happened to you on this round, Twiggy, but it sounds like you're losing your mind. And you know what?
I am.
I'm here for it. And you know what Razzie is here for? He's here for a win, baby. He's going around that final corner. Zera in hot pursuit. And Arthur is going to make it as he falls off the wall.
God.
Razzie falls off the wall. And it's an ace back the other direction as Ascent will tie things up. And the caster curses continue.
It's just gonna happen all day. This is the thing. After this, we've still got maybe some more semi-finals to watch, and then we got the full finals as well. Look, it never ends. It never ends.
It may never end. That's a full extra best of 7 to go after this, no matter what happens, and we are looking forward to that finals. The level of competition here in Europe, absolutely insane. Some of these players are peaking. Tricky right now, he's found a wall, and then he's found a checkpoint, and he will be forced to double respawn, and so he's kind of out of this one for a little while. Ascent will try and look to move further away from their opponents, try and put Mint far down in this one.
Oh man, and once again, Ascent holding hands all the way throughout this. Razzie's still trying to keep up, just a hair behind these two players, and takes a nicer inside line on this one, gives him a little more speed coming through to this final checkpoint, but releases just to get a nicer landing. Has more speed through the final turn. Needs it. So wide on that one, has to respawn. No. Gives away that first and second. Althanier also. Oh my god, this Zera is going to take first place, but it's going to be up to second. Can Ascent get another ace? Althanier takes a better line off the wall climb. Oh wait, Razzie already came through. I was looking at Tricky. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Look, a little bit of a anticlimax there, but still, Ascent take the victory there. 1-3.
That there was in fact a bit of a climax there as Ascent managed to win it with Arthur sniping on the line with a better exit to it instead of turning it into a draw. And so that means Ascent 1 point ahead here in the match will make it to 5 points total, and they are halfway to what they need to put this match to bed completely.
Yeah, Ascent still up first and second throughout the first parts of maps. They are absolutely staying well ahead, although there's a little bit of a penalty grass for Zera. He's going to go right back into 4th place, but a wall bump from Razzie is also going to send him into last place. And now Ascent back in front after that jump.
Yeah, Razzie trying to see if he can catch up. Tail lights disappearing into the distance as Zera and Arthur are moving into first and second, but it's a precarious first and second. Tricky and Razzie, both of them are going for that lower line, and it is giving them a little bit more speed into that final turn, and Arthur will find himself caught out. Zera versus Tricky on the final jump. Zera goes so low. Tricky coming in with more speed, but not enough runway to catch up, and Razzie will just about manage to hold on in front of Arthur to turn this round into a draw.
Ascent stays slightly ahead. We're getting closer to map point for them, and then series point, in fact, as well. Mint still just trying their best to stay in the game, stay 1 point behind, and try to gain that 1 point back at some point. Zera takes a slightly riskier line on that first one, but it does give him the lead moving forward.
He's going to keep cruising away from everyone else here, as there's a long run up there where that extra speed really did show for him. And that wall really shows there for Tricky as he goes nose first into it. Arthur and Zera leading from Razzie, and Tricky a long way back, completely out of this one, barring a mistake from one of the other cars.
Over through the checkpoint they go. Tricky quite far behind, but still makes it over. And now it is just Ascent trying to take this one away. All they need is a draw, and they'll be on to track point no matter what. But an ace would be very nice.
And it is interesting. Both teams do take completely different lines through that final jump. Honestly, I think it's been working out better for Mint so far. But then it comes down to the identity. And Razzie, he kind of fell off a little bit there. As it will be an ace coming through for Ascent. Yeah, it was quite literally plus L on the round.
Yeah. It is it's an ace for Ascent. Puts them 1 point away. Now Mint do need to ace twice to bring this map back. And that's looking pretty unlikely based off of the way they've been going on this one. Yeah, everybody is so close, but there have been more mistakes coming out of Mint so far. This may just be the end of this one. And I think we may be moving on to what has been apparently an incredible series between Blue Lock and Serotonin.
Yeah, it sounds like they are trading maps backwards and forwards. Both of them, it sounds like, have won their own maps all the way up to map 5. So we will be trying to jump over to that one. If Ascent can just close it out for us here nice and cleanly, all they need to do is get one car into the top 2 right now, and they are done. They are out of here. They will have booked a finals berth without dropping a single map in their semi-final.
Arthur has fallen back, but at that point, it really, really does not matter if Zerart can stay ahead, which so far staying with the better speed, a little less through to the wall climb, and Razzie takes the lead. Tricky coming into second place as well. They both get over that one. It is the first ace for Mint. Here we go. We're staying in the game here. Mint will go up to 8 points. Ascent stay on 9. Both teams on track point.
Both teams could win this map now. Mint, they could take the first step back in what would be a legendary reverse sweep to come from behind in map 4 and then try and push all the way to map 7. It's a long road yet, but they've taken the first step with that ace. They need another round win here, but it just needs to be a round win. No longer are Ascent okay with just the single point if they do lose the round.
Imagine the track sweep and the reverse sweep in the series. That would oh wow. Oh wow. That's oh dear. Tricky has driven to the left. He's gone on vacation, and Ascent take first and second.
It's going to be very difficult now for Mint to ace this one and close things out right now, but they could still tie it up. As long as Razzie can somehow win this, and Zerar and Athenir, one of them makes a mistake. Zerar does make the mistake! Now, Razzie still needs to catch back up. It's not a huge mistake for Zerar. He has room and time to build back up speed before the identity. He may yet be able to catch them. He's not too far down. We'll jump on board with Zerar as we watch Razzie, and Razzie will fall off the wall, and Ascent will find an ace, and Ascent will book themselves a berth in the Trackmania World Tour EU Regional Final.
I mean, okay, so last time we saw a 4-0, I was like, wow. I mean, it was so close all the way throughout. I don't know, like the other team, it felt like the score isn't representative here. Ascent was so clean through everything but some of the identities on this one. That 4-0 is completely justified.
Yeah, that 4-0, as you say, completely justified. Well played by them, and we're going to swap back just to our face, just very briefly. And I promise there will be more Trackmania in a second, as we are going to jump into the lobby for our other semi-final. Should still be ongoing. And Twiggy, let's see how things are looking in this match between Projet Blue Lock and their opponents, who are, of course, and I know this, it's Serotonin. I knew that.
Nice. Yeah. No, you got there in the end. Use your words. That's what matters here. Like, that's kind of our jobs, but whatever. Blue Lock's still protected by plot armor, have been taking... again, I will point out, Serotonin events have not lost a single map in the whole regional so far, up until they came up against Blue Lock.
Yep, and here they are, having now dropped 2 with Projet Blue Lock, making things interesting here on reps as well. This is Serotonin's last pick of the match. From here we go to Projet Blue Lock's second pick, and then potentially onto that random pick as well, and we'll see what they are. We don't have a clue just yet, but what I do know is that Darkwix is currently leading this round, but he is under pressure from Melio and Matt.
Yeah, Darkwix stays ahead through that one. Very clean line through the penalty grass there. Quicker to take the penalty grass, but it is all going to come up to the identity. Goes a little far to the left. Almost clips the wheel as well, but that is a very nice line. Takes first place, makes it a draw. We're on 6-4 here.
Yeah, draw is fine, but it's not great for Projet Blue Lock, with their opponents now moving up to 6 points. Serotonin are getting close to just a single round win being enough to propel them into that match point position. Projet Blue Lock, they'll really, really want to win this round.
Yeah, they really do need to try and keep ahead of Serotonin events. I mean, they've been I mean, again, they haven't lost the map, so you can see how killer they are. That killer instinct, and if they get a sniff of that lead, they'll probably start to take it away. So it's not a good thing to have this one. If they do manage to get Project Blue Lock this map, that'll be the first time they're ahead in this series.
Would be pretty good, and that's just a lot of a lower seeded team in this format a lot of the time as well. You know, if teams are pretty evenly matched, you're trading back and forth your picks with each other. The red team does not get to feel ahead up until the final map of the competition. It feels like all the time. As Sam touches against the wall, Sam will now drop a long way back. This could be the ace for Serotonin. They could put themselves all the way up on 9 points. Comes down to these final couple of jumps. Can Serotonin stay winning? Will they get their way across? It looks like they are clean, making it look easy. As Dark Wicks will go for an unexpected swim on the final turn.
In the end, I guess it didn't matter. So, no worries there. No harm, no foul. Serotonin events move up to 9 points now. Project Blue Lock, it's a story we've seen time and time again. Need aces to win this game out, to even draw it up against Serotonin events. It is Serotonin's map pick. It wouldn't be the end of the world if they did lose this one, but it would be nice to get ahead of them before you get to your own map pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Managing to win here for Project Blue Lock, going into map 6, your pick, and then having the random map afterwards as well. That would put them in a very, very strong position in the match. But it's going to take a lot of work from this point to actually manage to turn that into a reality. They are doing it right now, although Matt is coming back in with a lot of speed and will overtake both members of the red team around a single turn. And we do have to note once again, the Project Blue Lock coming in as the lower seed are playing on the red side.
Yeah, so far on this one. That's very sad. It'll never... It just... Wait.
They are the lowest seed remaining in the competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, there's no way they can be the blue team. That's so sad. Either way, every player here is staying within... Oh, a couple tenths. They say that. Melio slides off. Oh my lord! There's a couple of mistakes going through there, so it is just up to Sam and Matt to try and keep this one going. Serotonin events, though, managed to take it away, and it's no problem for them to get the map win. Blue Lock are going to have to bring back their own map.
Yeah, great time from Matt. 104.6 is very, very strong here on reps, and that will be Serotonin, as you say, taking this map win, moving to match point, looking to book their spot in the finals up against their opponents. Would be nice. Would be nice to just do it here on map 6, but I do get the feeling that we're probably going to a map 7 in this match. Yeah,
I mean, the fact that Blue Lock have taken their map pick so far already, I wouldn't be surprised if they took their third map pick. It's parkour that we're going into.
It is going to be parkour, and that of course means that Gyroscope is map 7, no doubt in my mind that that's what's happened.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. We're never going to see Slippy Slides ever in our lives. It's just it doesn't exist, literally.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Slippy Slides is a myth, just like real land. What's the quote from Waterworld? Dry land is a myth, just like Slippy Slides. That reference is for one person and one person alone in chat.
I don't know if I understand what you're talking about there. Like, I felt so lost in that moment. I've never felt so lost at a reference as that.
I can't believe you've never seen Waterworld. An absolute classic, all right? Now you know what your afternoon watching is. Everyone should go and watch Waterworld when the stream does wrap up here. Right now, we're going to see if anyone can wrap this matchup right here. And by anyone, I mean Serotonin. They need a win here on parkour. They're looking okay for doing it right now, but it is Sam and Darkwix looking to take round 1 here. Through the final identity we go. Melio at the back. It is Darkwix with a little bit more speed, trying to race to the end versus Matt. Will get a better line. And an ace for Project Blue Lock off the back of Darkwix, just clutching it up in the identity.
And a 56-0 is a pretty decent time to start things off with for Sam. You're not getting into the top 10 online scores, but you are definitely keeping up with them with that one. That shows a lot of consistency.
Yeah, that feels good for Project Blue Lock, and that does mean that we are definitely threatening a map 7 right now.
Yeah, look, it's just the Blue Lock way, I feel like, that we have to not only go to the final map, but also just, you know, it's the plot armor. We'll see. Darkwix, slides out a little bit there on the ice. Going to lose him a couple gears and give him a second to catch up, but 1 second behind he is going to be. Sam staying out ahead, though, keeps that lead alive.
Just about, and wasn't for very long as the landing was awkward for Sam through the quarter pipe. Is now wheel to wheel with Matt, and an awkward transition there for Melio as Sam is now trying to regain the lead. This one is going to come down to the wire. Who will get across the line first? Sam is trailing the 2 cars in front now, the 2 blue cars in front. It is going to be a clip for Sam. A wheel dangles over the edge. Melio and Matt will ace their opponents right back.
Man, those speed checks at the end are so unforgiving. Sam, I mean, had a slightly... It wasn't even a slow exit from the dirt turn. Just lost a little bit of speed on the dirt turn there. Had an awkward landing on the hump, and then suddenly you just don't really have enough speed to get over those last few jumps properly.
Not having enough speed to get over jumps, a curse. It feels bad. You don't want it to happen, and definitely Project Blue Lock will not want it to happen again to one of their players, because they need 2 cars near the top consistently at the moment to reopen up this lead. The problem is at the moment, 2 cars near the bottom. That's Darkwix going for such a brave turn, and it was maybe a little bit too brave as he went on the far outside, finds a wall, and is now drifting away. That's brave as well from Sam, who goes very, very low in the jump, and a clip from Matt means Sam has now found themselves a lead as we head towards our identity.
Yeah, Sam gets so much speed through all of these parts, but last time clipped one of these jumps at the end, gets a lot of speed through the dirt. Oh, and a better landing. He's got more speed. He's going to be able to push for first place here. Is he going to make a clip happen? Nope, no whatsoever. Sam does take first place in this one, and it looks like it's going to be a 1-3 for Project Blue Lock to put them 1 point ahead of Serotonin Events.
Yep, Melio with a little bit of a clip and coming up to that identity will just roll into a cone. And hey, as we know from the Trackmania Twitter account, if you do bonk that cone, you get good luck in all your future rounds, right? That is the cone of luck. And Melio will need a little bit of luck now in the next round, and he'll be praying to cone for that.
It's like one of those statues that you rub its nose, and you can see that like it's completely worn away in the nose area. That's good luck. It's cool.
Yeah. Feels good. Melio, let's see. We're expecting now Melio to win this round. No doubt in my mind that is the direction that we're going right now. But he is currently sitting in, well, second place, and it is Serotonin with that first and second. But a very, very fragile first and second as this ice turn will shake the pack up a little bit. Who does take the lead coming out of it? Sam up in first place, but all these cars still within a tenth of each other.
Yeah, no time to separate any of these players right now. Oh my god, they all stay completely holding hands going into the turn on the ice there. It's going to take something special to take the lead on this one, but Sam stays out ahead, has good speed through the dirt turn, is going to get a nice landing up there and stays in first place through this one. Darkwix has fallen back to last place, though. It might just be a draw for this team if things stay as they are, but that's a tree, Sam!
That's a tree, and that's the finish line beyond it, but it's the middle of the finish line that you want. The pole doesn't do anything for you. Serotonin will get an ace. They'll move to match point. They will look to put themselves into a grand finals with one more ace.
Oh, all it takes. He was just slightly off on the last jump. Almost straight into a tree, straight into the edge of the finish line. Oh, man. That's very sad. Sam has been doing so well throughout the whole map so far. Just a couple mistakes on the, well, barely even mistakes, just errors on the last few jumps. So sad.
And it was looking to be potentially, as you say, another round win for Sam in that last round if the line had been just slightly better. Right now, Sam has opened up a little bit of a lead, and there are 2 packs forming here on this round. Sam and Melio up front, Matt and Darkwix chasing them a little further behind, but that is shifting now as Matt carries more speed, catches back up as Melio is drifting back towards the rest of the pack. Sam well clear out in front. Once more into the identity. It doesn't look like we're going to get the ace to close things out for Serotonin. It does look like we might be on for a draw unless Darkwix can snipe. He's catching up. He might have the speed. He's lower than Matt. He'll take the win, and we will move Project Blue Lock 2 points closer. Serotonin, a round win will put them into this final still.
But Blue Lock now are also on track point. If they do manage to get an ace here, it could happen. Sam has been very consistent with getting first place going up into the last few turns. If Darkwix can keep up with his teammate now, it could all be over for Serotonin Events on this map. But, I mean, Serotonin Events still have one more chance. Blue Lock, this is do or die for them in this round.
This is do or die for Blue Lock, not just in this round, but in this tournament. This could be the end for them if they cannot pull it out of the bag right now. But they might yet be able to do it. Look, they could move us to 9 points apiece. They could put us on an anyone can win situation, and it comes down to now the last few turns, as all of these cards are still so close to each other. It's Sam and Darkwix neck and neck with Melio. No, they're fine. They're fine. It looked like a touch, but it wasn't a big one if there was one at all. Melio now drifts back a little bit. Projet Blue Lock, I think they've done it. There's no way. Ain't no way. There is a way.
Ain't no way.
Ace! And they'll move us to map 7.
Oh, Blue Lock. They always just bring out the anime glory. That is insane. I think if you name your team like that, I think you just have a buff. I think that's just how it works. You name your team in a way that gives you plot armor. That's the meta now, I think.
Yep.
Everybody should just start naming their teams after anime. It's an amazing idea. Someone needs to make a Karasuno team. Somebody like this is perfect.
Yeah, what's volleyball? Yeah, that's the one. You know the volleyball anime. Of course you do. You play volleyball.
I'm a volleyball player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but someone will remember, and I don't care because I don't want to talk about anime. I want to talk about map 7. I want to talk about agility dash. I want to talk about 10 points separating one of these teams from the EU regional final.
Of course it comes down to map 7, and of course it's agility dash to separate these two. It couldn't have gone any here's the plot. This is just how it is. The Darkwix and Sam start things off out ahead, but once again, it's only 1/10 separating all of these players in the first half of the map. It's going to be 1/10 separating them for almost the full map. It's going to be down to those last plastic jumps, and we all know it.
That is so true. Someone is going to need to believe in the heart of the cars, and they are going to need to believe that their team has no weak drivers as they look to push all the way into a final. It's going to be tough, but right now it is Melio who's dropped a little bit back from the rest of the pack. Projet Blue Lock in strong position, but this identity on agility dash has claimed lives already today. It could claim dreams here in map 7.
Darkwix keeping up now with Matt. It is going to have to be coming down to that one. We're going to move into the first kind of mini identity almost with the side jumps here over the edges. We've seen players fall out on this one as well, but although Sam takes a very did he bump there or did he take a safe route? I don't know. I think he took a bit of a clip.
I'm not sure entirely. Either way, he's a long way back and will be overtaken. He doesn't have the speed. He's not going to make it through up at the front. Meanwhile, Matt will snipe away. Darkwix and Melio will get across in third place. Serotonin take the early lead in our finals.
Darkwix took a wheel bump on the last turn, the little part where it just falls away there. He clips the end millimeters before the finish line. Serotonin events take the lead to start things off. Oh, you couldn't write this. You couldn't write this.
You could? Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could.
You could, but like people wouldn't believe you. They'd be like, "No, that's too dramatic.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, too much melodrama." But it's happening. It's real. Open your eyes, folks. It's happening right now. There's penalty grass at the back. I believe that was Darkwix. I don't know who it was. It was Melio dropping a little bit behind everyone else. And once again, the pack is it's a lump. It is not a pack. It has fused into a solid object. They are all so close together.
An amalgamation of Trackmania players. That is what we have right here, right now. An amalgamation of French Trackmania players, indeed, as we come forward to, once again, the first mini-identity part of the map. It's so fast through these areas, and every little second that you have your brake applied, you're going to lose a little bit of time to your opponents coming through on this one.
Sam is so quick. Melio drops back a little bit, and Darkwix may get the overtake happening as well. Matt just about holding on to this first place. Darkwix gets some airtime. That is not what you want. So now, how does the rest of this look for everyone else? Sam cleanly through. Matt is not cleanly through. Matt is dropping behind, and Darkwix is hot on their heels. Sam looking to get through this identity cleanly. Melio looking to catch them, and it's going to be close. Melio with a little bit of a turn with a crash, still across the line. A draw in round 2.
They stay right on each other's throats at this point. It really is just going to come down to the wire. 3-2 now, and I feel like we're going to get more draws on more close rounds as we move forward.
I hope so. Look, let's see a little bit of 17-20. Let's see a bit of Trolla as we go all the way deep on this one. Now would be the time. This would be the match to do it in. I am ready for it. And of course, waiting for whoever wins this one over in that final already is Ascent, who made it look easy in their semi-final, went 4-0 versus the team that is going to come out of this semi-final battered, bruised, and bloody in a knockdown, drag-out 7-map fight.
Yeah, and so far in the tournament, I would put these as the number 1 and the number 4 seed in the Final Four, because Blue Lock, they've come through. They've been the final seed since the round of, since the quarterfinals. Serotonin Events, they haven't lost a map throughout this whole series so far until they came into this series. It is so important. I mean, this is, it's insane that Blue Lock. Oh no, Matt! No. Oh dear!
Oh, Matt. He's gone, but look at Melio. He's still contesting at the frontier. He could still turn this, salvage something from this round if he can climb into those top 2 spots, just deny the ace. Easier said than done.
Yeah, it's staying so tight here. 2/10 between all these players, but there goes the Darkwix. He takes a little clip, and he's going to fall back to 3rd place. Stays just ahead of Matus, but that's all she wrote for that one. Sam is going to have to keep ahead. Oh, but he does not. Melio takes 1st place, and it's going to be another draw.
It's going to be another draw. They can't keep getting away with this.
In the words of Jesse Pinkman.
Somehow Palpatine has returned, somehow this draw has returned, and somehow we still only have a single point separating these teams. That point goes in Serotonin's favor right now. Projet Blue Lock, that looked like their round to regain, to turn that back into an advantage, but they did not quite make it.
Man, you can't keep making anime references. Breaking Bad, all of the anime first, now Breaking Bad. Jesse, we need to beat them at volleyball.
Let Blue Lock cook someone, okay? They need to cook.
Oh god, my mind is melting into a puddle on the floor.
This is what good Trackmania does to a man, okay? And, well, that was good Trackmania up until Matt decided to take a hard left turn off the inside of that turn, and now he is about a second behind the other drivers in this round. But it's Melio to lead the pack, and it's Projet Blue Lock. All these draws, they're fine, but just constantly being 1 point behind, that is draining. That is going to fray the nerves, and that is going to sap the mentals. Projet Blue Lock still have a chance to get to a final as the lowest seed left in our Final Four.
Melio so far is bringing out an absolute masterclass out here in 1st place. These splits have been absolutely brilliant. If he can keep that lead, he's going to keep his team in it. But oh no, he gets a slowdown on the grass hill, and Sam moves forward, and the Darkwix moves forward. He's going to be so close for the 2nd place. Melio takes it away. It's 700ths away from 1st place, but it gives Projet Blue Lock the opportunity to get back in that drawing position. 5-5.
Melio through the identity, just managing to hold on, to regain speed and risk a little bit harder, takes us to a tied game instead of a Projet Blue led game. Projet Blue Lock led game, and how important will that turn out to be as we get to the halfway mark of this match?
They are cooking. They are cooking. So somebody let them cook, and it's amazing. Whatever's going on right now. Somebody let the scriptwriters cook, and that was a good choice.
It was absolutely the correct decision. All I can say is I hope Ascent have been keeping their hands warm as they wait for this one to end, because I think we still got a bit of life left in this one. I think they're going to be waiting a while yet for one of these teams to take a decisive win. Melio will crash on out. This could be Projet Blue Lock taking the lead in map 7.
Oh no. The Darkwix keeping up a really great time here. Matt trying to keep up with him at this point and get to better turn, takes 1st place as they move around. Oh man, it's gonna come down once. Oh my, no way.
Not like this,
okay,
not like this.
Not like this.
Is dropping a little bit further back, but look, he's still about 7/10. He's still about half a second, excuse me, in front of Melio. That's not that much. It'll come down into this identity.
Oh, Matt,
it'll come down to
that's
Sam chasing Matt. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's maybe fine. Still in front. Matt trying to keep his lead through this identity. The speed. Sam, the speed. No, he can't make it. He's 400ths behind Matt at the end of that race. And so we get a draw.
Another draw. 17-20. 7.
It approaches.
Okay. This is the match. This is the match where that emote is going to be replaced with a 30-31 at this point or something like that. It's gonna happen. This is the one.
This is the match, it feels like, where it would happen. I can't believe that we have another draw. I can't believe that we're still at 6-6, but a single round win here or another draw. Look, someone's ending up on match point after this.
No, this is the plan. They're making Ascent's hands get cold. This is the point. They're doing it on purpose. Whoever wins this one, they're going to still be warm. Ascent has been sat there with, like, just kind of sitting around, maybe practicing a couple of maps. you know, in their Discord call for a while. They're not, you know.
Yeah. They don't
They've
know.
cooled down.
They are not prepared for what's about to
Not
hit
ready.
them out of the back
No
of this
matter
match.
which team wins this one, they're not prepared. It's not happening.
I mean, it's going to be close in this round already. Incredibly close. Darkwick's overtaken by Melio and by Matt through that turn. Both of them catching him in one, and right now it's 2 players from Serotonin leading. But how much longer can that last? Surely this state of affairs cannot stand. No, they're still looking good. They're still looking clean as they enter this pre-identity series of jumps. Matt looked like he was nearly getting a clip there, but he didn't quite. And it will now. We'll see. Can Serotonin find an ace? They're quick. They've been quick through this identity the whole time.
Oh,
Melio is
Sam.
being caught. Sam is catching, but he can't catch. It's an ace. It's Serotonin on 9 on the very cusp of a finals appearance.
Oh my. I really wouldn't put it past Blue Lock to get an ace and fly at this point. That's the thing here. I mean, Ascent right now are very much cat sitting very comfortable around a campfire with its friends, and Projet Blue Lock are fighting for their lives out here.
Fighting for their lives, and honestly right now that's a fight that they are losing. They need an ace to tie this match back up.
Look, if this happens, it's there is actually a scriptwriter if that happens. I'm convinced at that point. I'm putting on my tinfoil hat.
I'm right there with you, and I hope to be putting on my tinfoil hat at the end of this round. And we're looking to see, is there a mistake to be made by any of these players in the middle of the map? Right now, the answer is no. Darkwix and Matt on flying runs. They are so quick right now, but not far behind them are Melio and Sam. Sam will overtake Melio. Darkwix will be overtaken by Matt, and will head towards the identity with nothing to separate either of these teams out.
Matt staying just about ahead. That's gonna... I mean, as long as he stays ahead, nothing matters. He just needs to keep ahead of these 2 Projet Blue Lock players, but there goes Darkwix. He's taken a slowdown. Maybe it's not an insane one, but he's now at the back of the pack. If Matt can just stay ahead here, if Melio can just stay ahead, it's no problem whatsoever. Matt misses the jump. Sam falls ahead. He takes first place. Oh, but Darkwix doesn't make it either, and that is the death toll for Projet Blue Lock. They fought so hard to stay in this one, but it's not enough. Serotonin Events win. They'll be heading to the finals to play against Ascent.
Projet Blue Lock, they came so close, and you know what? They looked damn good doing it as well. What a weekend they have had. They fell by only 3 points in the final map of their semi-final. Against all odds, they made it incredibly close, and I just hope that our finals can deliver half as much as this semis did.
I've already lost my mind. I don't know how I can go another best of 7 on this one. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially with 2 teams of this quality.
Yeah, I think entirely fair. Look, let's just swap back across to our faces very quickly, very briefly. Hello, everyone. Deep breaths.
Hi.
Everyone calm down. This is something we need to talk about as well, Twiggy. Serotonin will need to calm down after that. They will be coming out of that with adrenaline pumping, hands shaking, and they need to mental reset. You are back to 0-0 reset. Next match, what maps do you want to play? What are you picking up against Ascent? How is this going to go? They have 5 minutes or so to reset. We have 5 minutes to reset. Chat, you have 5 minutes to spam, some piano emotes to get real happy about this music. And we will see you back here after that when we have our grand finals of the EU regional between Serotonin and Ascent. Welcome back, everyone, for the final time this weekend to the Trackmania World Tour European Regional. We have one match remaining. We have two teams remaining. And potentially 7 points for the Trackmania World Tour circuit to go to the winner of this match as well. Serotonin Esports will take on Ascent. Serotonin came into this weekend as the number 1 seed in this tournament. Ascent were the 6th seed. Between them, Twiggy, they've dropped a total of 5 maps all weekend long. And Serotonin, they dropped 3 of them in that previous match that we just watched.
Yeah, exactly. Before this, Ascent had obviously they dropped their 2 maps. Actually, sorry, only 1 map coming into today. They were obviously they had lost more maps than, but somehow now Serotonin have dropped more maps overall over the course of the whole regionals than Ascent have over the course of the whole regionals. Even though Ascent had dropped a map before Serotonin had on this one, so these are 2 absolute powerhouses coming in today, and I don't know how much there is to separate them. We haven't seen them obviously up against each other yet, but this should be unbelievable.
I hope this goes the full 7 games. I also think it'd be an incredible story if one of these teams just came in and swept the final as well. Like, if one of them could just step up big in the moment and sweep this final, I'd also kind of be okay with that. I think that'd be super entertaining to watch, in the sense of as long as the matches were close in the middle, you know, as long as it was close maps and then a sweep, just one team clutching out more consistently.
Yeah, I like we have no clue, because Serotonin obviously we thought were absolutely infallible before now, but Blue Lock have shown that they can take them to 7 maps. So obviously there is something that Serotonin can they can bleed right now.
They can bleed.
That's the thing. So we don't know. Obviously Ascent have not looked quite as indestructible throughout the whole regional, but I don't know. They came up against Shift in the final round of yesterday, so that's not exactly an easy opponent to beat.
There is that, exactly. It's the quality of opponents in this is very high. We're going to jump into our map picks and bans here and see what our first bans are to come through from both of these teams. Team Red to ban first. That is, of course, the team of Ascent. Serotonin now banning away. Slowdown off the table is going to be gone. Flip of Faith gone as well. And those are I'm okay with Flip of Faith being gone.
As long as we get Slippy Slides, I don't mind. That's all I want. Yep.
And it needs to appear in the first 4 ideally, so that we're guaranteed to see it no matter what happens. Pick 3 here. Come on, you can do it. No, they've gone for parkour instead. Pick 4 here. You gotta do it for us, Ascent. You gotta pick Slippy Slides right now.
Come on.
That's
all I want.
Hold on.
Hold.
Pause,
champ.
We're waiting. Any second. They do have a full minute. We could be pause jumping for a very long time here.
Fine. We have all day. We don't.
Well, yeah,
Grand League is coming up, but...
Yay!
Okay, Pog. All right, then. We are definitely seeing Slippy Slides for the first time in the EU regionals. That is unbelievable.
Huge!
The first time we've seen it is in the final.
Map 4 of the finals will be Slippy Slides. We're gonna get it on stream. It's huge. Honestly, who cares what happens from here on out? I mean, surely Gyroscope shows up as map 7. That just makes sense, right?
Yeah, it'll be the random 100%.
I think is going to make its way in, probably back and forth, as map 5 picked up here by Serotonin.
Come on. I just... Gyroscope needs to be the random map. That's all I care about. I want to see... Hey! Yeah, there you go. Trackmania said honestly, no arrow pipes for you.
The perfect pick ban phase. I don't think we could have asked for any better. Yeah. Guaranteed Slippy Slides. And if we go to map 7, we're going to Gyroscope. Exactly what we asked for. Thank you very much to all of our players. Thank you for the admins. I think that's all we needed to see, really.
Yeah,
like, you know.
I'm checked out. That's it. We're done. That's it. We have won already. I don't care about the teams. They can win all the whatever. That's fine. I don't care about them. I have won personally.
We're going to head on to reps for our first map picked here by Serotonin, who will be playing in the blue, Ascent on the red. The question we asked at the end of that last map is, have Ascent kept their hands warm? Reps is a map to judge that on. I think, you know, long rounds, 1 minute plus on the round times. And then not the hardest identity in the pack, but definitely one if you're not kind of dialed in, if you're not in the zone. It is very easy to kind of trip up a little bit on and lose yourself a round.
Yeah, it's definitely punishing because you restart right in the middle of one of those bars, and it's very difficult to keep your footing, as it were, on that one. And a lot of players attempted to take a very inside line, which you can clip your wheel on. And yeah, I mean, it's not the most difficult identity, but it's definitely one of the most punishing ones.
Here we go. The Trackmania World Tour EU Regional. 2 days of some of the best Trackmania in the world. It comes down to this. 2 teams, 4 players, Matt and Melio versus Arthanir and Zera. We're going to be loading into reps. We're going to have a 10-second warm-up, and that's going to, bring the hype down for just a few seconds here. But after that, we're going to be ready. We're going to be starting. We're going to be playing here on reps to see which of these teams can get themselves out to an early lead. Which of these teams can move. I did take it down, and I'm taking it all the way back up. We're away.
Did you see how on top of each other all of those players were through that warm-up there?
Yep.
This first few corners, those lines are literally exactly the same, and obviously they are neck and neck to start things off. The first 3 checkpoints, and they're still 1/10 within each other. No mistakes so far. It's all going to come down to, as we know, the identity. That's always what it is. And I just cannot wait to see. Okay, never mind. I was completely wrong.
Matt will touch a wall, and where it was 2 blue cars in the lead, it turns to 2 red cars. Zerar and Arthanir. Yeah, I think they're pretty warmed up. I think they're feeling okay right now. The adrenaline from serotonin from that last match may be starting to wear off just a little bit as they find themselves back in a fight, back on even footing, and having to rebuild it all from scratch.
Serotonin found themselves in probably one of the weirdest situations they've ever been in after having not lost a single map, being taken to 7 maps by Blue Lock there. Let's see if they can keep up this pace towards the last part of this map. Melio, his wheel clips on the outside of the jump, and Ascent are flawless through to the end. A 105.0 for Zera, and they take the ace to start things off.
Yeah, it's a nice time there. About 6/10 off the online world record as far as I can see there. Look, these players are fast. We expected nothing less. I expect them to be fast every round on this finals. What a start to this match for Ascent.
Oh, man. I don't think it's surprising that every player in the lobby is Benelux. I don't think that's even remotely surprising. Well, France and Benelux.
France plus Benelux, yeah.
I mean, Benelux kind of also involves,
Yes,
it doesn't
Belgium,
technically, but I feel
Netherlands,
like...
and Luxembourg also includes France. That's...
I know, but spiritually, that you know what I mean by that. That's not... You're being picky. That's the... You know what I meant
here in the final. That's Ascent. Both of them
culturally they are similar. Come on, man. Help me out here.
No, it's much funnier not to.
Oh my
Serotonin
God.
are leading, and they're going to lead, and they may just get the ace right back the other way. Melio and Matt, they just need to keep this one clean to the end of the map. Melio gets very close to a wall, but they are keeping it clean here towards the end. One jump into the finish.
No.
Melio clips, and is Melio in danger? No, he's still far enough in front of Zera that they will get the ace back, and we're tied up after 2 rounds.
I thought for a second there maybe Ascent had, they'd found that, they'd been warming up this whole time and it was just going to be a wipeout, and Serotonin had been put in the mud by Blue Lock, but no.
Turns out
I was silly and incorrect.
Yeah, not for the first time in the last 2 rounds, incredibly.
Wow, thank you. Very good. Love that.
Love that for me. Oh, don't love that for Arthanir, who has found a wheel off the edge of the wall. Melio with a big mistake as well is still managing to overtake Arthanir at the back. And up front there is a fierce duel going on between Matt and Zerar as both of them vie for prime position here as we head into the end of this map.
Zerar staying well ahead. On very good pace so far, but Matt really pushing for that one and staying within half of a tenth at this point. It is going to come down to those two to really decide the fate of this round.
It is going to potentially come down to this. It could be a draw yet, as Arthanir is still behind Melio, but look at those splits. It is not by much that he is behind, but we'll watch our front two as they go into this. Zera gets close to the end, and Matt has carried the speed. How much? There is 5,000 between them, as Matt will take it.
Between the other two.
At the back.
What?
What kind of draw is that?
Oh my... Welcome to the grand finals. That's all I can say. Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
This is going to be an awful lot of fun if these players can keep up this intensity and this level of skill the entire way through. I say this level of skill, part of the drama of that round was 2 players, one from each team, making a mistake at this section. So, you know, but...
Hey.
Yeah.
Swings and roundabouts.
It swings and roundabouts, exactly.
Oh, Zera has touched the wall, and now once again it's 2 groups of players. Oh no, it's going to happen.
A little bit closer together this time.
Nightmare.
Not a full 3 seconds apart this time. They're all within a second of each other, and Arthur is holding on for the team in red, up in first place at the moment, holding off, fending off Melio as they get around this. Into the loop we go, and a crash from Zera. He will lose touch. He's going to have to respawn. He now needs Arthur to take first place to keep these teams tied, but look at Arthur, too much penalty grass, and he's overtaken by both of his opponents. Needs a mistake from both of them. Honestly, at this point, he will not get it. They are cleanly through, and Serotonin will find themselves an ace.
Oh, they pull away for the first time so far, just about getting ahead of them. Zera walks himself into the finish. It's got to be quite painful. 2 mistakes there in that map, and yeah, Ascent now not looking quite as insane as they were in those first 2 rounds, but you can always bring it back. You just need to let Serotonin not to get first place and second place here.
Do not let Serotonin cook right now. They are...
Who did let them cook up until now, honestly?
Zerar, apparently is the answer, as he touches an outside wall, and we'll see the field pulling away from him a little bit. And Arthur will fall off that edge for a second time in 5 rounds. He gets caught out by that turn. That's not feeling great for him, especially given an ace for Serotonin. Wins them map 1.
I said the only thing that you can't let them do is take first and second place. How... Guys, please.
You gotta listen to the team comms. It's very important that you pay attention to the comms.
Oh no, Ascent in the mud already, and Matt and Melio are staying ahead. 4/10 between second and third now. All Melio has to do is keep that gap up, and all Matt has to do is finish ahead of his teammate at this point. But Zera is catching up just about, takes more speed out of the grass section, may just manage to take more speed through the final identity, and steals away the ace from Serotonin. They're alive for one more round here.
Map 1 continues for a little bit longer. It won't be all that. No, it's fine. They still get the points. They still get the points.
I thought it was only with a draw. It's okay. I forgot.
Look, he's going to make it anyway. Arthur, he's got this, baby. He's fine. Ascent, though, they're not fine, if I'm being totally honest with you. It is now 2 aces in a row that Ascent need if they want to beat Serotonin on map 1.
And so far it has just been unforced errors from Ascent that have given away these rounds. All they need to do, I feel like they have the quality that they don't need to push as hard as they have been, because they've been making mistakes on parts of the map where pushing really isn't going to gain them much time.
And, well, this time around, no mistakes early on, so no one pushing too hard here in this final round. Ascent, they could do with pushing a little bit harder. They could do with that mistake from Matt. Now, Melio, it's up to him. Can he get into the top 2 on this round? Can he prevent Ascent from climbing their way back into this match and giving themselves a match point opportunity?
Zera stays in first, and Arthur overtakes Melio to take second place. They're right on each other's bumpers. All they need to do is keep this position up. Arthur takes a lot of penalty grass, but does have a better line through that one, so he keeps speed and manages to stay ahead into the final identity of the map. They move forward, but Arthur he clips the edge, and it's all over in a blink of an eye.
Both of them fall off. Melio only needed one of them to make the mistake. Both members of Ascent crash out. And from Ascent looking for the ace to get back into the match, Serotonin find themselves an ace instead. Well, there you go. That's map 1 done. Of course, that's how it ends. Reps is gone. It's consigned to the history books, and we will see it no more this weekend, at least here. You may see it over in the Trackmania Grand League, which will be on this evening, where it will, of course, be the slightly more difficult version of it as well. But for the moment, it's done. It's over. It's out of here for the regional. We're on to map 2. We're on to Agility Dash.
Okay, we've seen a lot happen at the end of Agility. If you thought Reps was a fun one, the identity at the end for throwing out players straight into the bin, I have news for you. Agility Dash is that, but just 10 times worse.
Yeah, and the times that we've been seeing on this map, very fast all day long, low 122s if you want to win rounds, which is just slightly absurd, if we're being totally honest as well. I'm expecting no less here in our finals.
Absolutely not. Well, everybody neck and neck, not just by, I mean, they're hundredths away from each other through the first few checkpoints here. And the differing lines don't really matter in the end. Arthur takes a little bit of penalty grass, but more than penalty grass that is going to put you out is a wall.
It wasn't the worst touch we've ever seen, but it was definitely a touch, and Matt now falling behind is a second adrift of these other cars, Zerar and Arthur. This was their map pick. This is a map that they'll really want to win after you lose that first one, after you lose on your opponent's map pick. This second one, so important for how the match plays out afterwards.
Matt slows down again to avoid hitting another wall, and so as that is, falls down another, maybe half a second there. It means that Zerar keeps that lead, maintains that lead by 2/10. Arthur just has to keep up. Managed to get third place at the very least, and take the lead in their map pick, but it is all going to come down to these two little jumps here. Very good from all players up ahead. And all they need to do now is finish off that identity. Zerar takes it up first. Good first jump. Manages to get through. Arthur has a little bit more speed, but almost misses the jump. Stays in it just about. And Ascent do take away 2 points from that round, but that was very close.
Everyone else out here playing Trackmania, and Arthur is out here playing Tony Hawk's Underground. I mean, he's just grinding rails on the way along the identity. Gets along the edge, somehow maintains speed, and somehow maintained that third place as well. Gives Ascent the 2 points that they wanted to start this map off with.
You can just hear Rage Against the Machine blurring in his ears. That's all I can remember from Tony Hawk's games, is just Rage Against the Machine.
Sure, I'm pretty sure that's the most important part. I think skateboards may be featured somewhere as well.
Well, yeah, I know, but like, I remember the music, obviously. Have you seen my background?
Fair. Yeah, that's entirely fair. Very fair indeed. But, you know what? We're still in Ascent. We're still with Ascent, I should say, and they're still with the lead, although Arthur has been taken back over, and in the middle of the map, Serotonin are trying to make their mark on this one. But, like, look, I struggle to see any of these rounds not go... Some of them will come down to not the identity, but Agility Dash, this identity has caused more place changes than I think any other.
Oh, Arthur had so much speed through that almost full speed section there. Got a very nice SD. Keeps up with the rest of the players and manages to take himself second place off the back of that. And so far, as is the way for Ascent, they are oh man, both taking a little jump, fall down into third and fourth.
No! In one turn, both of Ascent get overtaken by both players of Serotonin. And here we go then into the identity one more time. There is speed from Arthur. No. Too much speed. He can't handle it. Matt can handle his speed. Zerar can too. Melio got overtaken at the end. And our match will get tied up again at 3-3.
Oh my. Okay.
Oh boy.
Well, oh boy, here we go. Arthur is playing with fire every round that he gets to the identity there. He was playing Tony Hawk there. He was playing, I don't even know. Fall Guys, I guess, is the only thing I can think of. That's the only...
That's fair, sure, yeah.
I think that works.
I'm trying to think of games that do involve deliberately crashing. And
we could say Total Wipeout. I guess that's
what's that game where you run around demoing everything? It's called like Demolition or something. Teardown. He's playing Teardown.
Oh,
sure.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Good reference.
Love that. Very good. Didn't take like 5 years
not.
to get that one working.
No. And complimenting my own reference
we are
means that other
perfect
people will
commentators, honestly. Like, I don't know. If there's any complaints about us, honestly, don't direct them anywhere because you're just wrong, straight up.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Oh my god, what a turn from Arthur. Arthur is on pace for a really, really good one. And the fact that he's on pace for such an...
Yeah, everyone else is keeping up, and now everyone else is still on pace for a really good one. Arthur very much not so, as he will fall behind the rest of the pack here. Full crashing into a checkpoint will do that to a man. Zerar is still leading, though. Could still draw this round for the team, and Zerar is going to try and draw this round for the team. Is first into this agility section, is still holding the lead, looking clean, looking safe, and there is only 7,000 separating Serotonin behind him.
I mean... Sorry. But Zerar is so clean throughout this so far. I mean, Zerar is, I don't want to say carrying. Arthur has obviously been keeping up completely. But Zerar has been absolutely gaining points for the team so much at this point. Even if Arthur is clean throughout a lot of this map, Zerar is so much more consistent on that identity.
Clean through a lot is definitely not
Oh,
the same
oh
as
my
clean
God.
everywhere. You've done it again. How have you done this twice?
You know what? You take the rest of the round. I shouldn't talk at this point.
Alrighty here. What we're going to see from here on out is a very clean round by all of our drivers, especially Arthur, who is going to look to turn this one into a draw for his team by overtaking both players from Serotonin and taking a first place. That's how I've drawn it up. That's how it's going to play out. And as Arthur approaches the loop, it's not looking ideal, but I mean, look at the speed. It is looking ideal. Look at Arthur go.
He had to take a very, very wide turn on that one. Does lose him a lot of that speed, but if he keeps ahead, if he gets first place, he saves it for his teammate here. So far, Zera has been the one taking first places and keeping Arthur near in the game. Maybe we can get a little bit of retribution there and turn it back around. So far, just fighting to keep up with the two Serotonin events players. All of them make it over those jumps completely flawlessly, but it's all going to come down to the last part of the map here. Arthur gets more speed through that one, but so far, he's been falling off at this point. He makes it all the way through. He makes it to second place and limits the amount of points that Serotonin events gets, but no more than that. It's not an ace, but it's not a win for Ascent.
It's good damage limitation by Arthur. Got about as well as he could. Like, look, Matt drives a 122.4 up the front. Like, that's going to be an incredibly hard time to match. To manage to hold on, to keep second place in that round, very well played by Arthur. And as you said, it is good damage limitation. Instead of being 7-4, we're at 6-5. And that is the matter. That is less than a tenth that separates those score lines for Ascent.
And in this round so far, it is less than 500ths that separates these... oh, wait. Okay. For a second, I saw the split come up, and I thought Zera had just crashed. I was like, oh, it's over. It's over. I'm sorry. No, it's all good. The split came up. He just... Oh well. There
goes Melio. He's fine. He's at the back now. This is Ascent's chance now to try and claw that point back that they did drop down on the last round. It's up to Matt, who drove a 122.4 last round to try and repeat that feat. He's not going to do it. Melio, things continue to go wrong there as he is now 10 seconds behind. But up at the front, there is 0.03 of a second separating these players. It's Matt who wants to try and clutch out this draw.
Call him Melly out, because he's not in the round anymore.
Christ.
Oh, man. Ascent, well, I mean, they have a pretty easy job ahead of them. All they need to do is get to the finish line. First and third will do it quite happily for them. They can catch back up to Serotonin events. But an ace would be absolutely lovely. And as they hold hands here through the identity, that looks like it's on the cards, but into the air goes Zera. He's off like Icarus, flew too close to the sun. And first and third it is for Ascent, but...
Much better scoreline. Gets us back to a tie game. I did cut back just to check where Melio was. You know, rounding that pre-identity section as Zera crashed out as well. Was never really going to be able to catch up with him. And that does mean we're back to a tied game. 7-7, an ace here to close it out for either team.
Somebody just put in chat in all caps, Zera so consistent on it. I don't deserve that. I'm taking strays here. No. It's not my fault.
Yeah, just because we mentioned once that Zera has been consistent on the identity. When he fails it once, that's not the caster's fault. Unless the caster is Twiggy, in which case it is. If it's me, it's not my fault. But if it's Twiggy...
I see.
Yeah, that's how that works, just to be clear.
Wow. Okay, understandable. That makes sense. As I said, now trying to keep up with Serotonin events. It is an ace for either team that will win out this map and will, well, in the case of Serotonin events, put them 2 maps ahead. In the case of Ascent, bring them back on level pegging and win out their own map. So far, Ascent, it looks like they're first and second. So far, no mistakes from either of them. You never know what's going to happen, though. Every time I say that, something terrible happens, but both players keeping up. It is just going to have to be staying ahead of the Serotonin events players.
Yeah, and luckily Zera is very consistent on this identity. Will be able to make it through cleanly if they can get there in the lead. Arthur is a little bit slower than Melio right now, but it will be Melio with a bit of a clip. Matt comes roaring back into the race for first place on this one. Zera out in front. Arthur overtaken by Matt. Arthur trying to just keep up. I think Matt is going to hold on for a second place finish. Ooh. Will do so. No ace to be had as Ascent will move to 9. Serotonin move to 8. And a 1-3 for Serotonin would bring us to our first overtime of the day.
It just had to be this way. It's gonna... Oh, well, it didn't happen last map, but it's probably gonna happen every map from now on out. I think Ascent just had, you know, not a great time first map, you know. Wasn't their map pick, and they probably, you know, just is what it is. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty close from here on out. I think we're getting 17-20 incoming all day long at this point.
17-20. I'm okay with a bit of troller here if that is what winds up happening. As Matt is just in front of Arthur at the back, and as the engines turn back on, Zerar holds the lead at the moment in what could be our final round on Agility Dash.
So far, the lineup is a draw if they stay in this formation all the way throughout, but so far there is really nothing to separate any of these players. All it's going to have to be good speed slide from Arthur. He's so good on this section specifically, takes so much more speed into the next turn than any other player, but he stays in 4th place for now. Everybody else is clean. Nobody is doing anything wrong just yet, but it's going to come down now to this the side jump section. We haven't seen any mistakes on the side jump section from any of these players.
We saw Matt is a little bit slow, Arthur is slow as well. We haven't seen big ones. We've seen a couple of small errors cost players a bit of speed. Melio on the last round, and this could be a draw. Draw does win it for Ascent. Zerar staying in the top 2 wins it for Ascent, and right now he's holding on. He makes it through. There's a crash from Matt. Zerar does take 2nd place by 8 thousandths. It's a draw.
Man.
A draw favors Ascent. We're going to map 3.
I'd like to point out that the reason that is a draw is because Matt flew into a wall.
Yes.
That is kind of both
very much so.
1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th swapped. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's how it be sometimes.
That is how it be.
Yep.
Oh my god. We're having 7 maps.
Yep, we're gonna have 7 maps. All right, everyone, buckle in. I hope everyone is feeling well rested on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. The sun is shining down on our stadium here, and we're heading for a full 7 maps. It may continue here. We're on to parkour. This is the 2nd pick for Serotonin Events. We'll see if they can pull out another win on one of their picks.
Well, off from the start, it's gonna be. I mean, it's just gonna have to be like. I don't know. Ascent are so generally clean throughout the non-identity parts of the map. That's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is...
Identities exist.
We've seen what happens at the identity to these players. Especially... you know what? I thought maybe, it's the grand finals, Nobody's going to make any mistakes, even on... Oh, Sarah, that's the smallest clip every time I say it. Look... I should just stop talking about what's good and bad at this point. But either way, it's a grand final. Somebody's going to make mistakes all over them every single round. Somebody.
You gotta stop, man.
Every round. I'm here. Right, guys.
No. Oh, Sarah did it again.
You keep putting me on Trackmania broadcast. This is going to keep happening. I bring the entertainment. That's what's going on here.
It's very funny. It is also an ace for Serotonin, who will pick up 3 points in round 1 of parkour. It's a strong start to their pick. I do feel like Ascent a little bit handed them an easy enough ace on that one. No real need for Serotonin to risk at any point on that map.
Yeah, the thing is, always, if you're able to take away your opponent's map pick, then suddenly things are looking not just in your favor, but incredibly in your favor, because then you have your map pick coming up, you're more likely to win that one. Suddenly you've got a cushion ahead of you, you're 2 maps ahead. That's perfect. But so far, both of these teams, there is so little to separate them even, that it being your map pick is... It's almost like a spectrum. At the start of things, obviously, with the lower, like when we were in the round of 128, when it's your map pick, you are leagues ahead of these people. You are so far ahead that you're just better in every way. Generally, you're going to see it go to 7 maps. At this point, it's the exact opposite. It is you're such a minuscule amount ahead of your opponents on your map pick that it also goes in your favor every time. You're just so good, but there's a draw. It's a draw again.
But it's a draw. But it is a draw.
Again.
So with all of that said, it is a draw, ultimately, as Matt made an early mistake and was unable to recover for it. I want to give props to Arthur, who was looking wobbly through the final identity there, was kind of at risk of losing it completely and maybe would have given a round win over to Serotonin, but managed to stabilize and managed to keep the car on the level. And hey, that's impressive, I mean, recovery driving is genuinely a very important skill as well. When things start to go wrong, the ability to react in a microsecond and actually keep it on track, that's good. And Arthur demonstrating that in our last round.
Yeah, when you have your line down and you're really good at that line, it can feel like you don't even have to use your brain at all whatsoever. You don't have to react to anything. But as soon as that goes wrong, suddenly you really do have to engage some form of, intensive thinking, which I feel like honestly, for me, that just wouldn't be a thing, right? I don't do intensive thinking.
Yeah, I try to avoid it where possible as well. And Zeror, well, he's avoided speed right now, and that's something you definitely shouldn't. This is going to be so close down to the wire. Zeror taking a very different line. It will be Melio's line that proves superior, as he will take a second place. Saved the round for the team a little bit, as Ascent will claw their way back into the match a little bit.
Matt, hey, look, it's all right. Your teammate, kept you from getting aced. So all good. Doesn't matter. Forget about it. Go on to the next round. Fine.
Just go next, All right, FF go next. You'll be totally fine on this one. And we'll see if that does prove to be the case. Serotonin have managed to cross that boundary. They are on the full 4 points. Melio loses a little bit of paint to that wall there on the outside of his wheel, but has managed to keep up anyway. And I'm not entirely sure how.
Well, yep. In this format, once again, it's looking like it may just be a draw. It could be anything. Every player within, once again, 1/10 of each other towards the start of the map. Let's see. This is where you gain a little bit of time if you take a risky line. Zero with a very nice one, quite low. Gives him a lot more speed on the exit, but everybody catches right back up on the turn.
Oh, Center looking strong on this round. They're looking very strong indeed. Matt is currently splitting them, but that's a case of 300s. And we'll see who manages to keep clean through this section. Zara gets a lightly awkward landing, and it is going to be a little bit tougher. And Matt has managed to pull out a lead entirely. Melio will make a mistake at the back, and Matt will be sniped out at the line by Arthanir by 6 thousandths for Ascent to take a second round win on the bounce.
That's going to get them 1 point closer to overtaking Serotonin Events, but it is going to... no, man, it's just so close at this point. We're on so map close. 3. It's if Ascent can take this map away, it's going to be massive for them. They need to push this one. If they get an ace at any point during this, you can definitely see it happening, and then they're onto their map pick. Then they can pull away from Serotonin Events, but as it stands, there's nothing to separate the two teams.
Yeah, this is definitely a time for just full focus. There are times when your opponent gets a map, they're clearly just driving it well, they're in the zone, you're kind of like, okay, maybe we don't have to focus as hard on this one. If we manage to pick it up, great. But Ascent are in with the chance here. If they manage to pull this one away, it is huge. So now is the time to just full stress in this match.
Yeah, I think the thing with Ascent is that they're always within a chance. I think that's the killer thing for this team, is that they genuinely just... It doesn't matter what map you pick. It doesn't matter how good you think you are on that map. Ascent are just great all-round drivers. Oh.
God damn it. Okay, well, here's the snipe at the finish line as Arthanir and Matt are racing wheel to wheel up across another. First landing came through for Matt, and he got across the line first. Arthanir will take second place by 100th of a second. Melio cruised home to a third. And I don't know, did something happen to Zero at the end of that round? I definitely didn't see. Serotonin will move to 8, Ascent move to 6.
I maintain the fact that Ascent are great all-round drivers. I'm not going to stop with that.
Well, all right, if Ascent crash out on this round, no, look, they'll be totally fine. This is going to be close. Serotonin could win this map here. They could bring us to map 4, and then we could leave this caster cursing hellhole that we've turned parkour into, as Matt and Melio are quick out of that turn, but Zera comes out of the turn with so much speed.
Yeah, Arthanir has just made a couple of, not even mistakes, just slow corners. That's all it is, just tiny bit, not perfect, and that's all it takes to drop you almost half a second behind everybody else. He hasn't touched the wall, hasn't done anything wrong, he's just fallen back because he's not keeping up with the same pace as everybody else, and everybody takes that corner quite nicely. Maybe.
I think that's it.
Oh yeah, Matt falls back just a tiny bit, and that does give Zera the path through. Melio stays out ahead, but it is going to be a draw for this second round once again.
I thought Matt was going to be able to hold the third place. I genuinely did, and I thought Melio, him getting the overtake, was going to be our round. But no, it's a draw, and now Ascent with an ace will manage to steal away the map. That'd be huge.
Now, yeah, it would be huge. You're absolutely right. Well, we'll have to see, because so far, every time I've talked about Ascent, one of them has crashed into a wall. So I really don't want to... I don't want to do that again. So Serotonin Events, they're out ahead in this one by quite a long way. In fact, I didn't even say anything about Ascent, and they're already half a second behind. But
Oh, Arthur got very close to that outside wall, and we have seen that ice turn in particular lead to some players crashing into that outside wall on the exit of it. Didn't happen this time around, and everyone is making it through this map, some more cleanly than others at the moment, and those some are both on Serotonin, unfortunately for Ascent. And as we round this last third turn, as we climb up this hill, as we make our ascent, it is Ascent who've touched an outside wall. It is Serotonin who are cruising, and all they need is one of them to make the top two. They're going to get two in the top two. It looks like they will finish it out with an ace to win map 3. We'll head to map 4 with Serotonin with a match lead.
Yeah, I don't think it was really... I mean, it was in doubt at some point, but it was definitely... We always thought from the start of that one that Serotonin Events were going to take their map pick. It seems like that is just the way this goes. The margin for error is so low that, you know, being proficient on one specific map, having the lines down and just getting it consistently is just going to take that map away from another team. And it seems like Ascent, they definitely have certain maps that they are more comfortable on. So we'll see the next one that they have picked coming up next, and hopefully they can take that one away and bring it back to a tie. But,
guess what map we're seeing here, Twiggy?
Oh boy, it's my favorite.
It's the map that we have not seen all weekend long for the first time ever on an EU regional. Slippy Slides making its appearance. We'll see how the players do handle this one. I'm sure most of these teams have seen it at some point over the weekend. I'm sure they'll be very practiced on it. We haven't seen it on the broadcast is all that's happened here.
We haven't seen it whatsoever, despite the name. Although the end is very slippy. You really, really don't want to be slipping around on the first part of the map. So very important with these wet wheels to not slide out here. That's the main part. But it also means that you have to take an awkward line sometimes if you're just going a little bit too fast. But everybody gets out of it unscathed completely, and they move forward.
Will be nice and easy so far through this one. Into the hairpin turn they go, and it is Matt who looks like a little bit of a winner out of that one as he does move up alongside Zerar at the front of this one. Melio has dropped a little bit down. The center looking clean so far on this their pick. And as we head towards the identity, we'll see if that holds true. It's a big crash out from Melio, and that will mean Ascent under a lot less pressure at the back of this map.
That was a slippy slide for sure. Melio completely lost control of the car in the water there. It does give Zera and Arthur near, or well, almost the lead. But here comes the first of the plastic slides all the way up the hill. Very clean from all three players at the front there. It's all going to come down to the wire here.
It's going to come down to the wire. It'll come down to another. And Arthur glides across the surface of the water there. Not sure if that's exactly how he drew it up. Zera will slide out completely. Matt versus Arthur at the finish line. It is Matt in the lead, and he'll win out on this one. Zera will try to catch back up, but nowhere near Melio. Serotonin take it. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what that line was.
I don't think I've seen somebody go that inside on the end of slippy slides ever. That was insane.
Sometimes your wheels just catch it and you catch back up. That's exactly what happened. Serotonin, they'll be happy to walk away with those 2 points on that one, especially as it really did come down to Zera making a mistake near the end when they looked so clean. That's Melio with an early mistake this time around, though, having to play catch up on round 2.
Yeah, Serotonin Events not quite keeping up so far. Maybe warm up into this one. Well, one member every round at the very least. They did win that 1-2-1, but so far Ascent do seem a little more comfortable towards the start of the map. But that bug slide at the end, anything can change at those 2 bug slides. Yeah,
as so often happens. We'll wait and see if that does happen. Right now, Matt building a relatively commanding lead of 2/10, which, given how this match is gone, is, kind of a lot. But he does have hot on his heels both of the players from Ascent, and that is Arthur with a very good line, catching right back up to Matt. Meanwhile, Zera does fall a little bit further away, but there's still another couple of bug slides to go here. We'll see who does come out on top on them. First one, they go through Arthur, very deep inside, goes wide. Matt is going to go on the outside. Watch them whip around that corner. It's maybe 2 outside, but it was fine. Matt will make his way across the line in first place. Arthur will have to settle for second, and Ascent will have to settle for the draw.
Arthur Nick trying to pull off his best Melio impression with that final bug slide there, going very inside, but doesn't quite catch up enough to Matt to bring it back. Serotonin Events stay in the lead. This one is always coming down to the wire. But yeah, I mean, if you make a mistake at the start of the map, there is really no... I don't know, there's no catch-up opportunity, I don't feel, on this map. So if you're not with the pack, at those 2 bug slides, suddenly, you know, you pretty much lost already.
Yeah, agreed. It does definitely feel like one of the more consistent kind of identities in a lot of ways, just in terms of how the players will whip around it. Melio,
bye-bye.
It's a mistake in 3 rounds running, and Matt with another big one there as well. So 2 players from Ascent racing away out into the distance. This is their chance to pick up an ace. This is their chance to put 2 points over their opponents.
Yeah, and as I said, now that those 2 are behind, there isn't really a way to catch up with these bug slides unless you take an insane line, but really, when you're down 8 tenths, there isn't much of a... there isn't really a line you can take with a bug slide that is bad enough to lose you 8 tenths unless you completely slide out of it. And it doesn't look like Arthur or Zera are doing that. Very clean towards the end. Matt following up 3rd place, but not within too close to either of those Ascent players. It's going to be an ace for this one to catch him well back up.
Yep, and Ascent will now be on that 5 points halfway to the final. It's been a while, it feels like, since we've seen an ace in this match as well. Haven't happened all that often compared to some of our other matches this weekend. But Ascent will pick one up there, and an important one as well, as they moves them in front of their opponents, moves them halfway through this match, and they'll be feeling okay about their chances. Melio, I think, has also not seen Slippy Slide as often as we have. Has been making a few mistakes here at the start of this map that you wouldn't necessarily expect from someone who's looked so clean on so many of the other maps in this competition.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Slippy Slides is one of the ones that people ban out when they do have more than 1 ban. It's so punishing, this map, that a lot of the time, if you're not really consistent on it and you're not really confident on it, you don't want to play it. So I think a lot of teams do ban that one out, and I think Ascent maybe just have the upper hand because they feel slightly more comfortable. But I don't even think Ascent are one of the teams that like Slippy Slides a massive amount.
Yeah, may not like it, but you just need to like it more than your opponent does.
Exactly.
When you're playing in a 2v2 format, that is all that it comes down to. Matt taking a different line than both of the players in front of him, choosing to keep grip on the ground. He has fallen behind both of them instead. He may be able to catch Zerar with a great line here, but will not quite make it in front of him, losing by a 10th and a 2nd ace in a row from Ascent. And you can see how quickly those aces stack up as well. 2 rounds and they go from 2 points to 8, and they are on the verge of winning this map. Just
a 1-3 here for Ascent. We'll take that map away, bring us to map 5. Completely even between the 2 teams. And it's what we expected at this point, but Ascent have done it with style so far.
They're looking good, and now they just need a 1st and a 3rd to close this one out. I mean, hey, wouldn't put it past them to do that right now. Matt, though, currently holds 1st place in this one. Melio, not made a mistake just yet. Is still falling a little bit behind, but has not crashed into a wall, and so is within sight of the rest of the pack, which is, hey, at least giving him a chance if someone else does make a mistake to catch back up. But Ascent have been clean through plenty of our previous rounds.
At least he didn't crash into a wall. That is definitely a positive as Ascent move forward. So far, Arthur in the lead. Oh my lord, Arthur went a little bit too inside. Okay, well, what is going on? Okay, what is going on?
It's chaos out there. There are cars in every direction. Matt and Zera are the only 2 players still on track, and Zera and Matt, it's going to be a close race. I think Matt's crashed. He'll go flying out. He has to reset all the way back. He's behind Melio, who's now trying to get across this line. Melio for a 2nd place. Arthur will be behind Matt as well. On the round from nowhere turns into a bit of a fiesta, and from a fiesta into a draw.
Arthur was so dedicated to that inside line that he, just the booster took him out. That was oh no, Arthur! Oh no!
Oh dear!
That's not a good start.
Look, it's fine. Zerar will come in the top 2 and close this map out, and we can leave Slippy Slides behind us and move on to our 5th map of this finals. And I think we are still going all the way to 7, Twiggy. I don't think my mind has been changed on that one.
No, I highly doubt at this point that this is really going to be a blowout for either of the 2 teams. Even in the last couple maps of the series, I think we're going to all 7. And so far, Serotonin Events are keeping ahead of Ascent here on this one. Unless Sarah can catch up and make it easier for his team, but he's sandwiched between these 2 Serotonin players. It's all going to come down once again to these slides. Sarah gets a really nice inside line on the first one, but so does Melio. Stays out ahead.
Good speed for Matt as he does manage to make an overtake happen. Zeror in third place. He needs to overtake one of the two cars in front of him in this final turn. I think he's going to need him to stay. Great line. He catches back up with Melio. He may get inside him. He slides out. The ace goes to Serotonin. And with a second ace, they could win this map yet. Put themselves on tournament point.
All they need is two aces in a row. That's all they need. There's the first one. One more will win out the map at this point. But they cannot let Ascent get a single point on this one. No fight. Well, they can't come fourth and they cannot come third on this one. They have to. They have to ace this one out. But, hey, they'll win the map immediately if they do.
They'll win the map immediately. No more driving on slippy slides. No more potential for these big slide outs that this map is so prone to. Right now, the two players from Serotonin have managed to gain themselves a little lead. They hold our first and second spot, and it's up to Zeror and Arthur to break this pairing up now.
Melio so far taking a good line. Does not slide out in the water this time around. Everyone keeping up, though. It is a very, very close round Ascent. All they need to do is get 1 point. All they need to do is get one player in the top two. That will close it out for them. So far, nothing happening for them.
Zeror got such a big slowdown earlier there, but he has caught back up anyway, and Arthur has managed to overtake Matt, but Matt comes racing back, and into the water we go, and you can see both teams have different lines, and Matt lets him down as he catches an edge on the way through, and Arthur will look to win. Melio, I think, is not going to even manage to beat out Zeror. It'll be close. It's not an ace, but this map is done, and it's in Ascent's favor.
Oh my lord. It's just going to keep happening. Again, even every map is close. Every map round score is close. The biggest lead we've had at the end of the map is, I think, 10-5. That's the best one we've had so far, and I think that was Serotonin Events right at the start. Everything else has been within 3 points between all of these teams here. Serotonin Events make it up to 8 before they are knocked out of that map. And we move to map 5.
Map 5. Gyroscope looms on the horizon waiting for us in map 7, but in the meantime we have to get through back and forth. We're guaranteed that we're going to at least map 6 at this point. Both teams on 2. We're back to a Serotonin pick, their last pick of the match.
Alright, well, I think we saw Ascent on this one the other day. They looked very clean here on back and forth. It is one of the maps I think they favor.
I guess we'll find out. We saw Ascent here today.
Oh yeah, we did, obviously.
Yeah.
Saw both of the semi-finals. I completely forgot that we saw both of the semi-finals because of the insane length of the Serotonin Events one.
Yeah, exactly. That is what went down, and honestly, yeah, you're right. Ascent did look clean here. Sorry, Serotonin definitely looked clean here as well. We saw a few good snipes from them. We saw Arthur crashing a finish line and still coming second at one point as well, and that was just a good time. So both of these teams, look, they know their way around this map. Matt chooses to show us exactly where a wall is. Thank you, Matt, for that demonstration. I will know to avoid this wall if I play myself.
Well, you said they know their way around the map. That's just a scenic route, you know? Matt was just showing off other parts of the map. That's fair enough. As we move up to the identity, it looks like Ascent are comfortably in the lead. All they need to do is keep it clean throughout this backwards section. And it hasn't really been much of a sweat for them so far, as we've seen them on this map. They make it through. No players making a mistake whatsoever. Arthur with a 57.0, and they get an ace in the first round.
Dent will pick up an ace, and Melio also had a bit of a clip incident on that backwards identity section, so we did see both players from Serotonin about 3 seconds behind Ascent there on that one. A little bit worrying, but you know, we know these players do have the place. We know that they are capable of putting in those times that they need to on both sides. Zeror will be starting from behind. He will be chasing this round a little bit, but Matt will drop back to keep him company.
Oh, that's very nice. Arthur stays in the lead, however, and Ascent are looking to steal away once again one of Serotonin's map picks. Last time they tried that, it didn't quite work out for them. It was very close, but not quite in their favor. This time it is looking more likely. They seem very clean on this one, especially Arthur so far. All they need to do is keep in these positions and they pull further ahead.
Yeah, we'll try to get this turnaround as cleanly as possible. Melio lost a lot of speed, couldn't even make the jump, and you could hear the splash as he fell into the water off screen there as well. Looking for 2 aces in a row. Zeror and Arthur across the line again.
56-7.
And that is a 56-7. It is quick, it is clean, it is Ascent on 6 points and their opponents on 0.
Wow. Arthur Nick just said, okay, that's it. That's enough. I'm done. No more. No more. Serotonin events on taking anything else apart from that. Arthur Nick gets a 57 and a 56-7 in 2 rounds there. They take 2 aces. Wow. It doesn't look like they're taking any prisoners on this map.
No, they're looking good. Another ace. Surely they can't get away with it 3 times in a row. Surely not a 3rd ace in as many rounds.
Getting away with this.
And yet, here they are getting away with it at the start of the map as Melio falls a long way down. Matt is behind both of the Ascent cars, and Ascent are just looking unstoppable right now on back and forth.
Yeah, Zera loses a little bit of speed there on the second slide, but, well, I mean, keeps comfortably with the rest of the pack here. Melio has dropped back, but catches back up off the back of that ice. Just able to take a little more speed off the wall ride. This is looking a lot better for Serotonin events. All they need to do is just keep it clean at the end here, and they get at least some good points, if not an ace, to bring things back in their favor.
Yeah, Arthur chasing Matt. Matt looking to hold on to this one, at least turn it into a draw, as Arthur will get around the last corner behind him, and Zerar is over the top.
No!
Matt crashed!
No! They gave another ace to Ascent.
They can't keep getting away with it.
Oh.
They keep getting away with it. There ain't no way, man. I don't understand.
Let Matt cook.
Melio,
Let Matt cook.
Melio with some illegal forward driving to cross the line there at the end, but it's 16 seconds behind, so we will let it slide. And Ascent are just going to speedrun this map and put themselves on tournament point, 1 map away from winning it. I'm willing to call this win for Ascent right now. I do not see how you keep both of them out of the top 2 for 4 rounds in a row.
I cannot believe Ascent get 3 aces on their opponent's map pick here. I said I thought they looked incredibly comfortable on it today. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like I hit the nail on the head with that one.
You turned out to be absolutely correct, and far too correct. And Ascent, we kept talking about it. Ascent might deny us gyroscope, Twiggy.
Imagine if they take that amazing map away from us. Exactly. That's the problem here. Oh my, Zero is so clean with the turnaround. He just takes over the spot from Matt immediately. And he just... Okay, sure. Take first place. That's fine. Yeah, the amount of speed this man has through this. Okay.
Bye, Zero. Off he goes, and that's sailing into the distance.
Okay, well done. Let's take it.
Into map 6.
It's done. He just went from 3rd to 1st in the space of the identity. Done. Cool.
Incredible speed from Zerar there. A 57.3. Not the fastest time we saw in this map, but it's fast enough for a track win. 10-1. The biggest gap we have seen yet. Our 6th seed Ascent now on match point, looking to win this tournament. 1 map that they could do it on before we go to map 7, before it's anyone's game. It's their pick. We're on to freestyle.
Oh man, we started off today with freestyle. I feel like it's fitting if we end today with freestyle. We've had some amazing freestyle games. We saw obviously Blue Lock come up against Serotonin on this map as well, and that one went the full distance. We'll see if Ascent can pull off the same thing.
If they can pull it off. I mean, surely. They looked so clean on that last map. They are in the zone right now. Serotonin, they have had a much longer day than Ascent. Their semi-final was much harder. Maybe the fatigue is starting to show through a little bit. Maybe the fingers are starting to get a little bit sore. But they will need to pull something special out on these last 2 maps if they do want to win this regional.
Yeah, the mental energy this kind of tournament format, especially on a game like Trackmania where a tiny mistake can cost you a full series, must be absolutely insane. It's been a long day for them, and especially when you've come through to the semi-finals of an event without losing a single map, and then suddenly, what just happened there?
How many players are respawning? Melio is, Zerar is, Matt and Arthur are safe and off in the distance. This is definitely 2 separate races right now, as Matt tries to hunt down Arthur to the finish line.
Arthur in the front for this one. They get a similar amount of speed out of that final turn. It's so important to take good amounts of speed through this jump. Arthur is so clean with it. He'll get through to the finish line, no problem whatsoever. That guarantees Ascent at least 1 point in this round. Zerar well ahead still of Melio. Is going to be quite leisurely as he comes through to this one. Just needs to get it done. There's the 360. Wicked over the finish line. 2 points for Ascent on their map pick on the first round.
Nice and clean by Arthur and cleaner by Zerar then for Melio, and ultimately that's all that matters. Once you get to the finish line, they will pick up 2 points, and Ascent have taken that first step to becoming the regional winners.
It is looking like it's in their favor, and they look confident coming through on that one. And it's got to be, I mean, the confidence build from a 10-1 must be absolutely insane now. Serotonin Events, I mean, to stop yourself from being a little bit tilted off the back of that is probably incredibly difficult. And Ascent probably feel incredibly good about themselves. All they need to do is take it over the finish line now.
Over the finish line a few more times, as a couple of aces would be nice as well. But the ultimate finish line waiting at the end of it is, of course, yes, the map win here, that regional win. And Ascent are getting closer to it. In this round, we could be on pace for a draw. Everyone has made it cleanly through the rest of the map, and we are heading to an identity to decide it all. Matt holds the lead into it. Melio brings up the rear. Two players from Ascent split them. Into the jump we go. Everyone looking like nobody
no way.
made it cleanly across. Melio wins the round. Zerar takes second. Arthur near third. Matt with fourth, and a draw. 1 point apiece.
Nobody made it across that jump without clipping their wheels whatsoever. That is how, I mean, that's the lengths they're being pushed to. Yeah, that's freestyle, but it's also showing the amount of pressure that's on all of these players. They're going so risky at the end just to try and get speed. They saw what Arthur did on that first round, where he just went full speed, perfect jump, and just made it all the way through without losing anything off of the back of that. And they now have to push this one. They have to take it as best as they can. But the risk that comes with that is that you're going to clip that exit and you're going to lose a lot more speed.
Yeah. Once again, Matt leads Melio in the back, and Ascent with two cars in the middle. Will everyone make it cleanly through the ring checkpoint? Yes, they will. Everyone is cleanly through, and there, well, everyone was cleanly through, and then Zerar found a pole to drive into directly afterwards. Arsenir now with a lot of pressure on his shoulders as we come into the last couple of turns.
So far, Serotonin Events keeping up nicely. It's a wide turn, and Matt clips the inside as well, which gives Arthur free reign over the end of the map. He takes it very cleanly, lots of speed through, and Zerar just comes through and takes second place. It's another ace for Ascent.
They are on form. They move up to 6 points. It's not quite match point yet. It's not quite tournament point yet, but it is dangerously close. And Serotonin, they really need to pull an ace out in the next round.
Yeah, I think for Serotonin now, it's getting over the mental barrier more than anything else. They're pushing themselves incredibly hard, and they've got to get over that mental block of what Ascent did last map, the way they were taken the full distance last time we went onto this map against the previous team they faced. It's there's probably a lot going on right now in their heads, and all they need to do is think, press W, go forward, probably.
Shut every other thought out. Just drive that car. Don't clip walls like that. Arthur will drop down, but Zerar is holding on to first place. He is preventing Melio and Matt from getting the ace they so desperately need in Ascent. They will still look to try and move to match point here after this round. Zerar still holding the lead. Melio and Matt still trailing just behind.
And that's the thing, as long as you keep that first place, you are always going to keep it up. You're always going to, at the very least, stop the other team from gaining points on your position. So as long as Zerar gets this jump perfectly, which he, does not, loses just enough time and gets overtaken by Matt. It's an ace for Serotonin. I cannot believe how close that is. It's back to almost level.
What do you mean that Zerar gets caught at the line there? That is a matter of inches. 1 point separates the team. Ascent are still not on match point, and Serotonin have life yet in this regional.
It could still happen. Serotonin could take away Ascent's map pick, bring it to map 7. Oh my, and of course it has to be finished on gyroscope if we're brought to that one, of course. That's just poetic at this point. Ascent, they don't want to go to gyroscope, they want to finish this one off right now. Zerar and Arthur way out in front to start things off.
Zerar and Arthur are holding the top 2 spots in this round, but Melio is in the mix, and he's no longer in the mix as he will find a clip, but there's another crash out there as well. I believe Arthur, yes, Arthur is now a long way back, and this could be a draw. Zerar needs to hold on. He gave up the ace last time around with a clip on the identity. Can he get it clean this time?
He's got a lot of speed coming through into this one. Matt only 3/10 behind. If something goes wrong on this, but he takes it safe, he goes over. Matt takes a clip, but his teammate is right behind, and he will manage to make it a draw still, but Ascent stay ahead.
It's a draw, which means Ascent are on match point, but they will need an ace. Serotonin are only a single point behind. A first and a third for Serotonin moves both teams to 8 points, and what a grandstand finish that would be.
Yeah. Ascent. I mean, they've already aced this once or twice. All they need to do is do it one more time here to finish things off. They will win the EU Regional Finals if they manage to get that done. But that is a tall order against Serotonin Events.
Arthnir taking an early lead, and Zerar comes dropping down from above to regain it for the team as well. Melio is inside Arthnir. They were literally overlapping there for a few brief frames. But Melio is still behind Zerar, who is out to that lead. And Ascent, they want this ace. They can feel it. Just close it out here. Remove any stress. Remove any chance for the comeback for Serotonin. Can they manage to pull it off?
Zerar stays nicely out ahead with a good line through there, but Melio right behind, trying to keep up, just trying to make sure that he is on that tail. Zerar, nice jump through, but Melio has more speed, takes more speed through the corner. Zerar needs to stay ahead here. He needs to take a risky line to stay in first place. He does, but it's not great. Oh my god, Matt, he doesn't make it happen. Serotonin Events level things up.
Victory.
Fully level. 8-8. Ascent with a round win are your EU regional champions. Serotonin with a round win bring us to Gyroscope for one last map. Who has what it takes? Who has the ice in their veins? It's going, no doubt, to be a draw.
It's massive from Serotonin already to bring this one back after the pounding that they got last map from Ascent. It's just difficult to bring yourself back into that mental state where you can try and just push for that win once again. Zerar stays out ahead. Ascent, all they need is a first place and they stay in that lead. But apart from that, it's so close you can't even tell.
Ascent have their lead. This is the lead that they need. Matt is a little bit behind, but I've seen too many people fall off on this identity to feel comfortable for either team just yet. Matt comes in with speed. Serotonin are dropping behind. Ascent in with a chance for the ace of respawn as both players from Ascent will cross the line in first and second. Ladies and gentlemen, Ascent are your EU regional champions.
I cannot believe in the final map it comes down to a 10-9 to give Ascent that win. They will take away 7 World Tour points, which gets them closer to qualifying for that All-Stars Championship or that promotion and relegation tournament. They will take 175 euros away. What an incredible performance from Ascent.
Absolutely top tier performance from those players, and to do it in the fashion they did, where they just destroyed their opponents on map 5 in that 2-1. Absolutely huge. I mean, incredibly impressive stuff. But as you were saying at the end of the match there, Twiggy, we have to give massive props for Serotonin as well. The fact that they came back and made this last map so close on their opponent's pick after being destroyed on their own map. Incredible. Like, just genuinely impressive mental fortitude on display there from them. And of course, the driving from every single one of our finalists was so fast the entire way through.
Yeah, I knew it would come down to just small mistakes that made the difference in this grand final, but it really was just every time somebody managed to just go a tiny bit off their course, hit a wall, or just make a small turn, just an error in that turn, immediately it was almost over for each team, and the way it went back and forth was so brilliant.
And I can't believe it, but that's it. That is our EU first regional done, wrapped up in the books. Ascent will go down in history as these Trackmania World Tour regional champions in a very, very stacked EU region. Congratulations once again to them. And thank you very much to everyone who has joined us and Ascent on this journey to the pinnacle of what Trackmania has to offer outside of the Grand League and the Challenger League. And of course, speaking of the Grand League, stick around on the channel. The Grand League starts in just over 30 minutes. That's going to be an awful lot of fun. Lots more Trackmania to come, and it all continues over coming weeks. You will not want to go anywhere. Keep up with it. Enter the regionals yourself. Have a good time. Play some Trackmania. We're going to see you around.